Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another chapter reaction for One Piece chapter 1146 this time, which every week it gets crazier and crazier that we're this high up in the numbers now. But welcome everyone. It's a pleasure. I was warned not to get spoiled on this chapter very early in the week, so I don't know if that means it's a super hype chapter, if it has something to do with a video or what. I have no idea. I'm completely unspoiled, but I'm excited nonetheless to react to this. So welcome everyone. Sorry I'm a little late. It is a very hot one here in Ohio today, and for the first time this year I had to turn on the air conditioner, and I also forgot to clean the air conditioner, so that was why I was late. I had to clean that filter out. You guys know how it is for those who use air conditioners, so apologies for that, but we should be good. Let's go ahead and get through some of these supers real quick, and then we'll go ahead and get into the chapter, because like I said, I was warned not to get spoiled, and I think I'm going to be good on these supers. But yeah, I want to go ahead and get into this pretty quickly. But Quanadin with the $5 super chat. Great chapter, 8.5 out of 10. Are you going to see the Star Wars Episode 3 re-release next week? I did not even know that was coming out, to be honest with you. I've only seen a couple Star Wars movies, or there's also like a show now, right? Like on Disney or something, right? I don't know all the media, versions of Star Wars, but I wasn't planning on it, but I think I mentioned this. I did go to the movies like a couple weeks ago for the first time in like years. So maybe I should keep the trend going and just go and see it. Maybe I should get hip to Star Wars, because I am not very knowledgeable. I mean, I know the basics. I've seen, the highlights, but I haven't like seen the whole series. So maybe I should. Maybe that's my calling card to go do that. Knack reacts with the Canadian 279, my guy. Thank you so much. You said 100 like bounty, and I see you got 8 likes already on that super chat, which that's a good amount for a super chat. They like just released the liking like, I don't know, last year or so. I don't know. But you guys know what, or most of you know what that means. Knack's got a special surprise whenever we hit 100 likes. So if you haven't liked D-Stream, please do. That would be awesome. Then XL Bean Boy, my guy, Fruit Loops or Fruity Pebbles. This one's an easy one for me. And maybe that's blasphemous. Maybe what I'm about to say is an unpopular opinion. But between Fruit Loops and Fruity Pebbles, it's no competition. Fruity Pebbles all day, every day, 24/7, 365. Cliff is barking because in agreement at the Fruity Pebble decision. I hope that's okay. I hope I'm not upsetting anybody with that take, but I'm not a Fruit Loop guy. I've never been a Fruit Loop guy. I know they have a cult following. They're one of the biggest cereal brands of all time, I'm pretty sure, but give me Fruity Pebbles all day. Cocoa Pebbles as well. Don't sleep on Cocoa Pebbles either. Trust me. I've always been a Fruity Pebbles guy. Like, Cocoa Pebbles are good, but I've always preferred Fruity Pebbles. And what's crazy about Fruity Pebbles is like are they supposed to have individual flavors and stuff? Maybe, but they just taste like Fruity Pebbles, right? Like, you can have Fruity Pebble flavored things and you know exactly what it is because Fruity Pebbles are their own flavor. You know what I mean? So Fruity Pebbles are goated. Definitely going Fruity Pebbles. Knack, you said maybe there's different in Canada, but this is shocking. I would not be surprised if here in the US we had some special extra chemicals or dyes or something that made it taste better. I will not deny that. That is definitely a possibility. I have been known to eat some Red 40. That's what it is, right? Red 40. I think that's what they put on like Flamin' Hot chips, I think. I don't know. But we definitely got some extra stuff in the recipe here in the US for sure. So that might be it. But all right, guys, I want to go ahead and get into this chapter. Like I said, I was warned not to get spoiled. I don't know what's in here. And even if it's not something that I personally have to look out for, we have a new One Piece chapter. That's enough of a reason to get excited. So I am ready to react to this. Let's go ahead and get into it. One Piece chapter 1146. I see we have this crazy cover page, this like super long cover page with Loki's face. That's interesting. Ralph, buddy, can you go lay down? I was just outside. Like I said, it was a really hot day. And I just walked my dogs a couple miles. That's part of why I was late, because then I got the air conditioner fixed up. And because of that, it was, like I said, it was very hot. I was sweating, and now my dog is obsessed with trying to lick me, and he's not supposed to do that. So we're gonna get him to stop, because that is distracting. All right, so we got this tall Loki image here that is like, I don't even know what dimensions this is, but it's like like you couldn't even fit that like on a phone screen. You know what I mean? Like that's so tall. I mean, I think it's to give, you know, the size of Loki and Yggdrasil, but that's very interesting. It is like super duper tall. Very, very crazy. All right, let's see here. Chapter 1146, A Stir in the Silence. Okay. Now we got Ulti with, we owe you our lives. Please let us serve you. All right, so we have the confirmation. Yamato is getting scabbards, right? Getting followers, just like Odin did. And as a lot of other people, to my knowledge, have said, the cover story is still moving at a snail's pace. We are still in Who's Who's mansion. We've been here for like 8 chapters now, 7 chapters or something. This is crazy. You know, it is what it is. This is the Yamato cover story. We're going slower than a Den Mushi here. We are. I don't even know. We might be in this cover story the rest of the series at this point. But hey, that's kind of hype that we got the confirmation that Ulti and Page 1 are joining. That's cool. I think this is definitely setting up a situation where once Yamato gets all the scabbards, then Yamato can leave. And yeah, I think that's what's happening. I just don't know how long Oda's gonna milk it for, but well, we'll see. Let's see. We got Usopp. Who the heck is that? It must be the intruder. Intruder? The human intruders. The ones who totally outclass the castle guards. What's your deal? You're behind the kidnappings, aren't you? Alright, and so we do have the Gunko and Brook interaction here. Did you just say human? Oh, okay. Oh, we are gods. Okay, I thought this was about to be a whole new race shenanigan, but no, this is just the typical celestial dragon talk, I suppose. I was hoping for more of a reaction with Brook, but maybe that's still coming. We are gods. Gods? You sound like Enel. He's coming back, guys. The way that Usopp keeps mentioning these important things is killing me. Like, remember when he mentioned Excalibur? I think he also mentioned Ors earlier this arc. Now he's bringing up Enel. Because when Usopp says it, that's just, I mean, that's extra weight on it, right? Like, the fact that Enel was named, he's coming. And if you guys haven't seen my redacted video that I did with Parvision Sai, Commodore Laz, Kev DOG, and Randy on Redacted, I think I already said that. Go check that out for sure. That was a great video. We talked about Enel for a really long time. But alright, so I'm glad he was name dropped. Why would a god go after the children of Elbaf? Yeah, they're my friends. Tap, tap. Where are you taking them? Let them go. A child like you should know when to hold their tongue. Hey, I kind of like Colin here, you know, standing up to her a little bit. It's kind of cool how they're like going through the fire. Well, I think they have like an avenue, you know, they're not actually burning, but that's just a pretty cool scene there. Even for us, a clean abduction isn't feasible, given the sheer size of our quarry. Alright, so now we see the Cloud got defeated, with the Frankie and Ripley probably beat it. Oh, it looks like, oh yeah, Frankie attacked it for sure, that's cool. So the way that these, like, kids' nightmares are losing so quick, we're definitely getting, like, scarier things soon. Because, like, with them being the kids' drawings, they're not going to be as strong. We're definitely getting something soon that's better. Our only option to ensure passage to the Holy Land was to have them walk themselves over here. The Holy Land? You mean Marijois? Your celestial dragons? No way, they're the worst. She's like the ones I was picturing, though. Also, I see Kev DOG is calling me. Kev, I don't know if you're listening. I doubt it, but I'm a little busy at the moment. Yeah, I doubt you're listening because I don't think you've reacted yet, but... She's nothing like the ones I was picturing, though. I'm afraid this one likely holds an even higher rank. A God's Knight. So, hold on. So Brook knows about the God's Knights? Are we getting some Brook lore? Is that... Because they weren't name-dropped to Brook earlier this arc, were they? I don't think so. I don't think that's been mentioned yet, right? So Brook knows them. So that's got to be from his past. And I would guess that it's from, you know, his like military background or whatever. I would imagine maybe like they had to call in help from the God's Knights at one point for pirates that are attacking or that were attacking. That's hey, give me the Brook hype, man. Especially with Gunko here, because Gunko's a Brook fan. It would make sense for this to be kind of the segue for it. Indeed. And so now we see the arrows coming after Usopp. Don't tell me you're gonna force those kids into slavery. What the heck is this arrow thing? We won't let you. Zeus, you called, Nami? Well, go away. It won't stop chasing me. Alright, so the arrow is being very weird with Usopp. I wonder if we're going to get a weird Usopp interaction, like they don't work, like kind of like a Perona situation. Maybe because Usopp can like predict the future, he can direct the arrows. I don't know. Thunder Shark Tempo. Have we seen Thunder Shark before? Whoa. That's okay. Okay, so she used the arrow to turn it around, which is pretty nasty. I love the shark, guys. I love the shark. That's awesome. That Oda, 10 out of 10. The world was meant to simply vanish one day. That's how it was supposed to go. Run, Nami. Okay, so the world was meant to simply vanish one day. That's how it was supposed to go. Now, is that maybe a hint to the Void Century? Like whenever they had the Void Century, they were expecting that to be kind of like you know, they were going to hide the past and hide what happened so that the world back then vanished completely, and then they were going to restart it and, you know, kind of be the rulers, but the poneglyphs got in the way. That's kind of how I'm reading it. Cliff, buddy, we're busy right now. I know. Cliff's had a hip issue recently, and he's finally coming up the stairs again on his own, so I'm kind of happy that he's over by the window, because that means that he's coming up the stairs and he's not hurt. But, you know, we got stuff to talk about, Cliff. We got really important things going on right now. All right. Kia, I'm sorry, Nami. All right, so that's definitely Brook getting hit by it. We saw this in Whole Cake. I haven't even scrolled down, but I already know. You can see the skeleton. Oda did the same thing in Whole Cake. It's got to be. Yep, it was me. Yep, yep. See, Brook, my guy, standing in for the second time doing the same thing. It was you. Oh, thank you. However, some among the humans realized what lay in store, and they made sure the entire world would know. Hey, Gunko coming in with the Ohara hype. Hey, I'm all about that. Now we got Usopp attacking a God's Knight. All right, I like this. What's gonna happen? Take that. We're not afraid of the celestial dragons, you bastard. All right, Usopp. All right. I've been waiting for it. It's not enough. You know, he needs to do more. But Usopp did something. You know, that's cool. I like it. It's something. You know, it's something. That was overkill, Usopp. All right, stop the cap. She's obviously not dead, but stop the cap. Even if she was, it was not overkill. It completely blew away her top half. I'm so sorry. And now we see her regenerating, so they do have the same regen as the Gorosei, which is a good confirmation. So now we can maybe presume that the Abyss pentagrams are tied to all this. Like, if you have the mark of the Abyss and use the circles, you have this power as well, is kind of how I'm reading it. What? She's regenerating? I felt bad for her, but this is creepy. It says crack. Okay, it might just be a translation thing. I must say, it is rather unnerving to see the dead rise. Once it starts, it cannot be undone. It's rather unnerving to see the dead rise. Once it starts, it cannot be undone. I mean, is that simply saying, like, she's the dead rising because she's regenerating? Or is this a hint that she actually is dead, a la Brook, you know, coming back to life, which he's a different situation, but is that maybe the hint, and that's why they use the underworld, like they're already dead and have come back? I'm just gonna keep reading. No one can stop it. Whoa, I knew it. The arrow must point to her target. Leave it to me, Usopp. An attack that telegraphs itself? How absurd. The countdown has started. The world is already entangled in the opening salvo of the coming Great War. It is said the Giants' allegiance will greatly shape how the conflict unfolds this time. Is that Loki? What? Oh my god, dude. See, the Loki and Luffy parallels just keep building. That's... When you're getting the goofy stuff like this, it's locked in. I don't know. I mean, we already knew it, but... I mean, in the way that... And the fact that this Loki-Luffy comparison, in a way, is being shown in this... Because you can see Luffy's also big to the side, right? Like, they're both doing the same thing. The fact that those two are complementing each other in that way, right next to each other, while she's talking about the Giants' allegiance will greatly shape how the conflict unfolds. That's Oda telling us something, that like we need Loki on our side. It like, and that's a big deal. Like if we don't, we're gonna be in trouble. And also, I like how this is pretty much officially saying that this is the start of the final war. Which was the main point, well, one of the million points, because it was a long video, that from my first Elbaf video. So I'm excited about this. This is awesome. I might have to do a part 2 at this point. I mean, I don't know, man. I keep talking about Elbaf, and I mean, I love it, but, you know, I feel like every single video is Elbaf related, and maybe I need to do something else, but at the same time, when Oda's cooking this hard, I mean, this is great. A worldwide war? That's never gonna happen. So this plot was to take the kids as hostages and put Elbaf under your thumb. That's beyond cowardly. Thank you, Jinbei, for speaking the truth. I am merely carrying out my mission. It may well turn out to be a fruitless endeavor. I don't particularly understand the concept of hostages. The lives of a few children are as worthless as trash to me. Alright, so Gunko's in the mud. We could have already presumed this, but Gunko, we're good. I mean, you know, I wish Usopp did an even better job, you know, and just took her out completely. Like at this point, I know there's a lot of Gunko fans, but when she says the lives of a few children are as worthless as trash to me, she's trash to me. Gunko, you're in the mud. What's wrong with you, you fiend? Thank you, Colin. And now Colin's getting arrow attacked. All right. 5,000 brick. Gavot? I'm not really sure how to say that. Fwip. And so now we see them attack each other. So Brook hurt Jinbei, and Jinbei punched off Brook's head. Aloe faded arrow. Okay. I mean, she's kind of clowning on the Straw Hats right now, but like I said, when you say kids, you know, kids' lives are trash, I mean, look, someone's got to get this girl. I mean, please. Now we see Nami getting kicked, which we don't really see Nami actually get hit like that very often, so that's pretty impactful, I think. And now we got Usopp. Bwoosh, damn you. And it looks like he's about to get kneed to the face. That's exactly what happened. So she just like no-diffed the whole Straw Hats and took Colin, so that's not a good look. I'm pretty sure Oda did that on purpose. He's like, all right, I'm gonna do something that's gonna make everyone hate Gunko, which is saying that children's lives are trash. And then right after that, she just cooks the whole Straw Hat crew. So Oda's like, yeah, she's terrible, but look how strong she is, kind of thing, you know. Well, are you ready, Killingham? To tell the truth, Elbaf's communication network is limited. It's a shame, but at least they have one of these important points in each village. Ah, Principal Kiba. Oh my, those are quite sharp. Okay, so we got Killingham just, like, no-diffing this teacher here. I mean, hey, I like how it's making the Gods Knights look badass, you know? I mean, I like that. Like, we actually have a threat here. I can't move. That's because I use sleep paralysis on you. Yo. Have you guys, if you guys have had sleep paralysis, that stuff is scary. Like, it's happened to me a lot before. When I used to work at Chipotle, and I had to work like 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. Well, it was actually like 5 or 6. I was there all day. But when I was low on sleep back then, I used to have sleep paralysis all the time. And it was so scary. It's terrifying. Thankfully, it doesn't happen as much anymore, but I'm sure you guys have heard like about sleep paralysis demons. That must be what these nightmares are that are running around, because my God, it's the worst. So this big old thing is a telediction snail? Never heard of it. Summers, try talking through it. You should be able to transmit nationwide. Got it. But I'm gonna need a sec killing him. This one should go down soon. Alright, so now we have Saul versus Summers, which is cool. And Saul is looking like he's in bad shape. And poor Saul, right? Because remember, we had the whole life alert warning at the start of the arc, which didn't seem to be really true. It was kind of to get Robin out there, but regardless, we kind of started the arc hearing that Saul was in bad shape. He already had the ice time capsule thing happen to him. He got stabbed by the thorns trying to protect the kids, and now he's got Summers coming after him. I mean, Saul, I'm sorry, dude. This is tough. He's a former vice admiral. I thought you died on O'Hara. Robin, Chopper, don't move. Stay hidden in my hair. Oh. Wow. Okay, Saul. Okay, we already knew that Saul was a real one. We already knew. It wasn't even a debatable thing. But now he is of the realist, right? I mean, he probably was already in that upper echelon, but my God. The man cannot stop sacrificing for other people. Saul, I love you, man. I'm glad you're alive. The children, I'm begging you, take care of them. Gee, ha, ha, ha. Come on, it's time for your final charge. Hey, you hear that? Man, and he just fell right into the thorns, and there's Robin. Oh, man. And Robin's got to be there while Saul's going through this, bro. Oh, man. A school? A library? You should have cut the peaceful crap. You're meant to be warriors. There was a time when your peoples might shock the world. You were supposed to be our mercenaries. Right, Harold? King Harold, that bastard. He really messed everything up. What could the noble king have done? End of chapter. Yo. Alright. So for one thing, God's Knights, I like that you're threatening. We needed it so bad after the Gorosei were a little disappointing. Cliff, buddy, come on. I know. There's people over in the parking lot across the street. I know, and you wanna let them know that you're watching them. I know. But I mean, so I'm glad that the God's Knights are threatening. I've been waiting for that. I mean, we already knew that they were threatening, but like how strong? Well, we just saw them kind of clown on the Straw Hats, so we have a little bit of a understanding. Now, they didn't fight, any of the top guys, but I mean, Jinbei was there and he got clowned on, and Jinbei's very close. I mean, his bounty's technically higher than Sanji's, which, that's led to a lot of debates. But regardless, that's pretty insane. But now the stuff here with Harold is really, really important. So he's lamenting over how they had a school and a library, like they stopped being, barbarians as much. And then he also said you were supposed to be our mercenaries. So under Harold, they must have had a plan to make all the giants their mercenaries. And that also leads me to Mother Carmel, who was obviously on the island and trafficking kids. And I was gonna do a video this week, well, maybe last week, I don't know. I was gonna do a video, and I still might eventually, on Harold and Mother Carmel working together, like Harold knowing what Mother Carmel was doing. And I almost feel like it's very, very likely at this point, if he was setting up the giants to be mercenaries, it might be through a Mother Carmel-esque system. Maybe that's even why they built the school and stuff. They were planning to use that to send the kids. That would be an interesting plot line. Like, it really wasn't to make them less savage. It was to make them, maybe easier to traffic out of the country, maybe something like that. But then he also says, King Harold, that bastard, he really messed everything up. Now, I'm curious does that mean that, you know, he set up this plan and then he died, so he messed everything up by dying? Or is it that King Harold ended up changing his mind at some point, and that's why he messed everything up? Like, maybe he realized that he was wrong, and maybe that's why he died. Maybe King Harold was like, no, you know what? I don't want to do this. I'm not going to sell out Elbath. And then maybe the giants killed him and then blamed it on Loki, and maybe that's why we're here. That would make some sense to me. Phenomenal chapter, though. This was a great chapter. I did get I don't know what video it was for, but I did get a comment on a video, and I didn't see the full comment, but all I could see on my phone whenever it popped up was like, well, now that we know this theory is ... and like then it cut off. It didn't show any more of the notification, and thank God. And so I don't even know what video it was. So I was like, all right, well, I'm not spoiled at all, but I know that there's something with one of my videos that's relevant. And maybe I'm wrong or right, because I could have said now that this theory is wrong or confirmed. Like I didn't know, so there was no, like, I wasn't spoiled. But now I'm going to go back and look. But I think what that person was probably saying was about the war starting. It was probably on my Elbath video, I would imagine. Because people had warned me before that not to get spoiled, so I was like, all right, I'm not going to. And then I got that comment, and I'm like, okay, so people, maybe there's something with the video, and I'm guessing it's the war thing. I'm really glad I didn't actually get spoiled, though, because I feel like Oda's setting up some crazy stuff here. Like, I mean, the stuff about the world was supposed to end, and then some humans realized what lay in store and all that, like. So the Gods Knights also know about the Void Century, it seems. Right? Because remember the Celestial Dragons with Saint Charlia, the female version of Charlos, which I always thought was funny, with Charlos and Charlia. Charlia was like, you know, she didn't know about the Void Century. She, like, questioned it, which some people read, you know, maybe they don't call it that, but they know it by something else. There's maybe a few ways you can read into it. But either way, they don't fully understand the situation, one way or another. But the Gods Knights seem to, and I think that's very important too. So Oda is setting up some major stuff here, some absolutely massive stuff. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into these super chats. I've been seeing them run through. I want to see what you guys got to say here. Let me scroll back up and see if I can get to the very beginning here. So I saw Bean Boy. Okay, good vibrations. Member for 29 months, bringing the good vibes. We really be out here, facts. We really do. And we be out here reading some top tier chapters. Oda, I feel like especially the last handful of weeks has been really cooking. Yeah, we out here for sure. Appreciate you, good vibes. 29 months, that's crazy. We're almost at 2.5 years. Thank you so much, dude. Seriously, I don't want to gloss over that. I think that's the highest number of anybody. So that's awesome. Davon, aka Schoolboy Beats, with the $2 super chat. Oreo O's, PB Captain Crunch, or Honey Bunches of Oats. All right. I'm going to sound like an old man. I'm going to sound like I'm 10 or 15 years older than I really am. But I'm going with Honey Bunches of Oats. All right. If you guys if you guys want to clown me for it, feel free. But I feel like if you have actually given Honey Bunches of Oats a real try, you wouldn't be clowning, because that's in my upper echelon of cereals overall. Like, probably in my top 5 is Honey Bunches of Oats. Again, that might be blasphemous to some people, but I've never been a big fan of Oreo O's. Oreos in general, top tier. Oreo O's, I was a little meh. PB Captain Crunch. So I love peanut butter and I love Captain Crunch, but I wasn't a big fan of the peanut butter Captain Crunch. And also, maybe it's just me, but Captain Crunch always made my breath smell terrible. And so I stopped eating it, because it's not even for other people, which that is a reason to do it. You don't want to have bad breath and bother other people. But for me, it was so bad that for me, I was like, dang, this smells. I'm not eating Captain Crunch in the morning anymore. So as much as I love it, I'm not going to pick that one. Honey Bunches of Oats all day. Sign me up. Thank you, though, Davon. Knack Reacts, Canadian 279. Once it starts, it cannot be undone. Equal arrow power. Love that connection. I did not even think about that, Knack. That is a really good call. Now, I will say it'll probably get flipped on its head by the end of the arc, where, like, it'll probably be Usopp who defies the arrow at some point, so she learns, like, oh, wow, you really can change fate, or something will be how she reads it. And it would make sense that Usopp is the one who would be at the epicenter of that, because he's kind of the fate guy, right? Whenever he says something, it happens. And so that would be kind of interesting if Oda intertwined them, where like the arrow is, once it starts, it cannot be undone situation. But then Usopp, who maybe he'll predict a different outcome. And then we'll be sitting there like, all right, is the arrow going to be right? Or is Usopp going to be right? And it'll probably be Usopp. So that's a really good call, Knack. I didn't think of that, but you're definitely on the money. That's what Oda definitely wants us to make that connection. And then also, Knack, I saw you donated 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so much, Knack. I don't know if we've even hit the 100 like mark. We haven't. So you gave the bounty early. I appreciate you, man. Seriously, thank you. Welcome everyone who got a gifted membership. Duran Ross, Oscar, Debus, Beezy, Big Ronnie, everyone welcome. I know a few of you have already been in the Afro Gang before, so welcome back. And Duran Ross, I got to tell you, I did my NBA bracket yesterday, okay? I did my full bracket, and I picked the Lakers to lose to the Cavs in the finals. So at least you got that going for you. You have me saying the Lakers will make it. Part of it's a little bit of copium or hopium, because I think the Lakers have a really good shot versus the Thunder. Probably a better shot than the Cavs do, but I think the Cavs have a really good shot versus the Lakers compared to the Thunder. So I kind of hope that the Lakers make it, but I did have them making it on my bracket. So XL Bean Boy with the $5. I almost said 5 gifted memberships. The 5 gifted dollar bills. I'm gonna say it. I think Harold and Rox were hired to bring the slaves to God Valley and be security for the killing game. That's interesting. So I guess I love the idea in general. I'll say that much. I love the idea that Harold and Rox, in general, were working together for all this shady stuff going on. That, in general, I'm on board with. As far as the bringing slaves to God Valley, I guess my caveat there is that it seems like a lot of the slaves already were there, right? Because a lot of them, lived on the island. Now, they did bring some of them because of, Kuma and whatever. But Kuma was already in the Holy Land, and so you would think the world government would be able to do that themselves. So I guess that part is maybe I'm a little unsure about. I mean, we don't really understand the logistics yet, so maybe you are right, and I could be wrong. But in general, I am fully on board with Harold and Rox in some way, shape, or form, helping with the government's doing. And that might be what's so ironic about God Valley, because if you remember, the reason Rox actually went there was because they took his treasure, right? They took the treasure of Hachinosu, and then we had Ginny make the broadcast and talk about the fruits and everything, and then that's why they showed up, and we even saw Big Mom go right for one of the fruits that Ginny talked about. So, given that context, it would be pretty interesting if Rox was, helping the government from kind of the dark side, the underworld side, and maybe he was supplying them with slaves and things like that, but then maybe he wasn't interfering with all their native cleansings, because he kind of wanted them to happen. It was his business, maybe he was making money off that or whatever. But then once they took his stuff, he's like, all right, no, nope, you can't do that. We're enemies now. I think that would be an interesting plot line where they kind of crossed Rox a little bit. I would like that. So I'm with you. Harold and Rox working together for sketchy stuff. Yeah. I actually think Harold and Mother Carmel were working together first, and then after Mother Carmel died, which was 63 years ago, I believe, then I think Rox came in and kind of filled that void. Because once Mother Carmel left, okay, well, I hate this is such a terrible sentence to say, but who's going to be our next child trafficker in the story? Because if we don't have Mother Carmel, but we know that the government's still getting these, these abducted children, basically, well, who's going to be the next one to do that? There's got to be someone to fill that void, and I think it was Rox. So I think Harold was working with Mother Carmel, then Mother Carmel died, and then so Rox came in and was the next step, and then maybe Rox died, and then it led to whoever else. Maybe Shanks, and I don't think Shanks is trafficking kids, but just that Shanks could maybe have ties to the underworld and stuff, and maybe was the next wave of it in some way, or maybe even just the Gods Knights in general, like Shamrock or whoever. I think there's a lot of potential there. So yeah, great call, Bean Boy. And then Bean Boy, I also saw you gifted 5 memberships, dude. Thank you so much. W's in the chat for my boy Bean Boy. That's the A plus today, man. Thank you so much for the for all the generosity. That seriously means a lot. And let me see. Do I have? Oh, nope. I don't have any memberships to give, unfortunately. I was gonna match you 5 there, but I don't have any more free ones. I gave the other ones away during the TCG opening stream. That was right. I couldn't remember where it was, but Bean Boy, thank you so much for the 5 gift membership. Seriously, that means a lot. As always, I mean, you've been donating since day one, so it means a lot. You've been around for this long, dude, for real. I also saw that JJ, the top man of the top men. I don't know how to say it, but Topman Warcury's biggest fan. I see you got a gifted membership. Welcome, JJ. I almost said appreciate you, but all the appreciation goes to Bean Boy. John Stoops with the $5. So is Luffy's group ever going to realize what's happening? Where's Scopper right now? The Monster Trio and Loki's observation hockey is on Fritz, I guess. Yeah, it is crazy how Oda's done that, right? How Oda has, like, all the really powerful people who could actually combat the God's Knights are all separated, not even aware of what's happening. And then we have everyone else, kind of the B team, all, which I hate calling Jinbei the B team, but he's like the captain of the B team. But whatever, doesn't matter. We got all these other people just getting cooked right now from the God's Knights, and it's gonna make the Straw Hats, feel bad. Like whenever Luffy gets there and he sees what happened and everyone. So that's gonna be intense. As where Scopper is right now, that's a great question. Because we just saw him like last chapter, right? So yeah, I don't know. He should definitely be involved. Especially with Colin being his kid and Colin being in trouble, you'd think he'd be there. He's got to become a next chapter, I would think. And the thing is, with Luffy's group being separated, they don't know who Scopper is yet, right? They don't know that he's Scopper Gaban, left hand of the Pirate King or anything. They just know he's Old Man Yasan and he's really strong. So, but the other side, the people we're seeing, they were told that like Scopper Gaban or Roger's left hand has been on the island. Like, I don't know if they know what he looks like or whatever, but they know that Scopper Gaban or like an important person like that is here. So so Oda's built this interesting juxtaposition where like, Luffy's group doesn't know who he is, but the other side, they still have to experience how strong he is. So I think what's going to happen is Scopper will come in, save them, and this team will learn, oh, you're the left hand of the Pirate King. You're this really strong guy. You saved us. That's crazy. And then maybe whenever Luffy's group comes and meets them, that kind of, opens the door for Luffy to learn who he really is. Because, like, Oda's mixed and matched it a little bit. So that part's interesting. So I think Scopper will come and protect them soon, for sure, to, like, fully introduce himself to this half before the other half. And then about the observation hockey, Sanji was the one who had like the furthest range that we saw, because remember during Wano he heard the like the Oirons or whatever they're called, the geishas, whatever they are, they were crying or worrying. It was fake. They were faking it, but they were crying. And Sanji heard it and went to go help them, but Luffy couldn't hear it, and he's like, "Oh, I got to work on my observation hockey." Or maybe Jinbei said it, but either way, they both seem to agree on it because neither of them heard it. So you would think Sanji would. And the fact that he doesn't is making me think that it's because the island is so big. Because it's obviously it's a giant island. It's so massive. It would kind of make sense that he can't. But then on the flip side, what I would say is Loki should be able to. Maybe Loki's just too tired because he's been hurt, so he's not paying attention, which I think is what Oda would say. But with Loki living on this island for so long and being as big as he is, that might make a little bit of difference. Because like Sanji probably hasn't had to use it at this long of a range before, so he's probably getting used to it, but Loki might have always had to. But the thing that makes me think Loki should definitely be able to is that he's a parallel of Enel, right? And Enel could detect every single person in Skypiea. Remember, like, he could detect how many people were alive. Now, whenever Luffy was inside of Nola, he couldn't, there's a lot of theories you can make out of that. But regardless, with the Loki and Enel parallels, you would think Loki could do it. So maybe he's just too hurt right now, and that's how it'll start. Maybe he'll wake up from this little nap he's having, and he'll digest the food, and maybe he'll be like, oh, hey, I detect several powerful light, or I detect the life forms that met me earlier, or one of them, because Gunko's the only one left that he met. But I detect them over there. If you get rid of my shackle, I might help you. Like, I think that might be where this is going, because he probably can't really fight them without it, or he can't even really leave without it. So I think that's where this is going, if I had to guess. Friend Harper with the $10 super sticker just said, #1 fan. Friend Harper, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I know I messaged you a couple weeks ago. I can't remember if you or well, it was like last week or maybe like a week and a half ago. Whatever. I messaged you somewhat recently, and I think you replied. I can't remember. I gotta go double check. But yeah, no, I haven't heard from you in a while, so I hope you're doing all right. I don't know if you've just been busy or you've just been, you know, enjoying LBAF too much that you haven't had time to be here. But regardless, I appreciate you, and thank you for the donation, Friend Harper. If you have any theories or thoughts or whatever you want to share, feel free, because I know you just did the sticker. But if you do, I'll do my best to notice it and answer. ZMP323 with the $5 super chat. I think Harold wanted to make Elbaf a world government nation and get a spot at the Reverie in exchange for Elbaf's strength. I agree with that. Loki probably blew up the deal as a kid. Yeah, I like that too. And it's funny because, like, that whole Loki thing where he was talking to Harudin and said like you don't think that's really the truth, do you? Or something to that effect, alluding to that the story might not be fully what we heard. The way that, I think the way you can interpret that line is that, oh, Loki didn't kill Harold at all. But it could be that Loki did, but we just didn't know that Harold was a bad guy, right? I think there's a couple ways that Oda could still spin that situation. And the way that you're kind of describing it makes a lot of sense to me, where maybe Harold was just, maybe Harold was just straight up like, Loki, I'm selling you to the government so we can get a spot at the Reverie. It's going to be great for Elbaf. We're helping the Elbafian people. You just need to go and listen to them, and you'll get the... And maybe he even said, hey, you'll get to be a world noble. You'll get, waited on hand and foot. You'll get all the food you want. It's great. But then Loki was probably like, no, I'm good. And then blew it up. And then the story is, oh, people think, oh, he killed Harold. Harold was such a good guy. And then maybe Loki's like, no, I was about to get sold to the government and literally do a bunch of bad stuff, and Elbaf was going to get, misused and whatever. Like, you didn't understand. I think that's a compelling plot line. People have talked about the Jarl or Ja Rule, traitor idea that maybe he had something to do with Harold, and I think there's a chance for that. But I think kind of what you're talking about is maybe more likely, where Loki was kind of like, hey, that's a bad plan. You're going to hurt Elbaf. I'm going to take you out, So I like that. And the thing is Harold trying to sell off Loki to the government for a spot at the Reverie is just a complete parallel of Kaido, right? Because Kaido was sold off by Vodka Kingdom to the government so they could get a spot at the Reverie. And obviously he has the horns, and so does Loki, and people have already said, including myself, that Harold might be Kaido's dad. So we're really revisiting that entire plot line. So I think you're on the money. And it would be a little bit of an inversion where Kaido, at his young age, whenever it happened to him, he wasn't able to fight back, and he just kind of accepted it. Now, obviously, the government failed to keep him captured and all that stuff, but the Vodka Kingdom did get rid of him successfully. But Loki would be an inversion. He's almost like a guy who's telling the leadership, no, I do not want to get sold off to the government. I do not want to go be a celestial dragon. I do not want to listen to them. I do not want to be, they're just destroyer, who goes in and just beats up anybody they need. Like, no, I'm not doing that. And maybe Harold's like, well, we're gonna have to fight. If you lose, I'm sending you. If I lose, then, well, I can't do anything about it. And I think that makes a lot of sense, personally. That sounds like it's on the money to me. Vex is the lurking legend, member for 22 months, my guy. Brooke knowing about the Holy Knights is crazy. Like D-Stream. Yes, everyone. Vex is right on both fronts. Please like D-Stream. But also, Brooke knowing about the Holy Knights is crazy. Give me the Brooke hype all day. You guys know I'm a Brooke fan. I'm ready for all Brooke hype. And him knowing about the Holy Knights, this secret organization, where, remember, Loki said, like, no, if I had met people like them, I'd have made it to the the ends of the world or something. He basically said like, no, I didn't meet them because I didn't make it far enough or something, right? And so for Brook to know them, I'm like, my guy, what happened in your past, Brook? When did you meet them? Was it just because they came and helped your country, or did the Rumbar pirates run into God's Knights and escape? Like, what happened, Brook? You know, I need to know. Did Brook maybe have a native cleansing near him or something? I don't know, but it's crazy to me that it. Give me the Brook hype. JR Writer 203. Hold on, I just lost your super chat. There it is. JR Writer 203 with the $5. Thank you very much. It's fun this late to have this regen threat. I agree. It's very new, and we don't really know how it works yet, so it's very fun. Even the Gorosei, they got sent back, and we didn't really figure out the regen yet. They just got sent completely back. Like the circles got canceled. So I agree. I love the regen situation. Reminiscent of pre-time skip Logia invincibility. Very true. What do you think the regen solution is going to be? That is a great question. So my theory during the Egghead arc were those photonic gloves, because you remember, which those were mainly for holograms, and I thought maybe that's where this is going, because you remember back in like Thriller Bark where the secret to the shadows was salt. There was like it was like a kind of a random thing, but there was an absolute, you know, perfect way to combat it, and that was salt. That was how you fixed the zombies permanently, or you sent the shadows back permanently, or whatever. And so there has to be a trick to this, just similar to the salt. Now, salt, that's not going to be the answer because Oda's not going to redo the same thing. But you know, ingesting something is a possibility. So maybe they have to ingest sea stone or something, or a sea stone adjacent thing, or maybe it's like literally sea water instead of just salt. It's sea water. Maybe it's a whole other thing. I think that like something in that realm might make sense because of the devil fruit stuff. But personally, I think those photonic gloves were a good bet. And even if it's not specifically those, it's something adjacent to that, because the whole point of the hologram thing was like, oh, they're intangible. Like you can't even touch them. Because you know, Luffy tried and he flew right through it, but those actually let you make true contact. Like it let you hit their quote unquote like real body. And it kind of reminds me of Blackbeard a little bit as well with his darkness fruit, how he said like he grabs the fruit user's real body or something like that. I can't remember exactly how he phrased it, but he's able to like, you know, actually stop you from using those powers. Like he cancels you from having the Logia powers. It's different than Haki, where like, yes, you can have Haki to hit a Logia, or you can temporarily stop them from having a devil fruit and then hit them. And so I think we need something kind of in the middle of all of that. You know, so salt, part of that idea is like, you know, there is salt and seawater, so there is an ocean connection. For Blackbeard's fruit, there's an ocean connection because he, you know, the darkness, people have said that's like something tied to the bottom of the sea. It's also like a black hole, but maybe it's also like, you know, at the bottom of the sea, light doesn't reach there, so it's pitch black. There's a lot of pressure and all that stuff. People have talked about that. And so there's another potential ocean connection. So I feel like it would make sense for there to be an ocean-related thing to defeat these guys, to cancel the regen, but I don't know exactly what it would be. Like, part of me would want to say, like, what if they fall in the water and it's like a devil fruit, and then, you know, they can't heal if they're in water or something. But we also saw Topman, like, jump over the ocean like it was nothing, like, no worry to attack Emeth. And I feel like he wouldn't jump over the ocean if the water was going to cause him any trouble. So I don't really know. And actually, come to think of it, Jupiter ate the sea stone bubbles during Egghead. So we know that, like, eating sea stone shouldn't work. Now, like, when I say sea stone bubbles, I don't think, I forget exactly what they said. Like, I think the sea stone bubbles have the same element. They're not like actually made of sea stone, whatever. It doesn't matter. Those bubbles should have affected Jupiter if that was, you know, really a factor. So I doubt it's that, like, because he even ingested it. So that's really like the salt all over again, but that didn't work. So I don't know. That was a really long-winded way of saying probably something ocean related, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it could also just be like an extreme level of Haki, because you think about Joy Boy sending everyone back with like the Haki rope thing. Is it just that you need such strong Conqueror's Haki that you can defeat this? I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, long-winded way of saying I don't know, but great question, JR. That's the question of the week, pretty much. Vasil Vlad Ivanovici with the £5 super chat. Also, Vlad, you were cooking in my stream with Randy last week as well. Shout out Randy Troy. We had our 3rd annual Theory for Theory. If you guys haven't checked that out yet, I highly recommend it. Those are always excellent collabs. But Vlad was there cooking. But let's see if he's cooking here today. Unrelated, but I would like to suggest another possibility for Elbaf's Devil Fruit. As suggested by Loki's wings tattoo, what if it's a Valkyrie? So I think that's interesting specifically because of the tattoo. I'm gonna do a quick Google search for Valkyries in Norse mythology, because like I know what they are generally, but from a Norse mythology perspective, I'm kind of curious what their story's about. In Norse mythology, Valkyries are often powerful female figures who serve Odin, the chief god. They choose which warriors will die in battle and carry their souls to Valhalla. Valkyries are known for their beauty, strength, and association with war. So, like I said, I like the idea because of the wings. However, this is my brief Google search, so maybe there's way more to this than I'm reading here. In fact, I would bet that there is, because I'm reading the AI answer on Google, which you know how reliable those are, but if Valkyries are mainly powerful female figures in Norse mythology, I don't think he would have that one. Now could Oda do it anyway? Because who cares? Absolutely. I'm not saying that rules it out, but I think that might throw a little bit of a wrench in it. But regardless, now you're making me want to go look at other winged figures in Norse mythology, because that would make a lot of sense, right? Because you also think about Kaido. Because Kaido had like the scale tattoos, and obviously that carried over to his fruit. And with Kaido and Loki potentially having a Herald type connection, I think the tattoo is a really good hint. So Valkyrie's a good idea, or something like that for sure. I don't know. Again, I don't know if Valkyrie specifically, if they're supposed to be female primarily, but regardless, I am gonna go do some Googling after this for some winged Norse mythos ideas, because now I didn't even think of that, but it makes so much sense. So I'm gonna keep looking. And by the way, one of the things that Vlad said in the last stream, which the Valkyrie comment reminded me of it, because you had a few comments, but one of them was the El Baphomet theory that you talked about, Vlad. I was thinking about that the other day. That's been living rent free in my head. Elbaf Omet. Sign me up. I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but the vibes are on point for sure. Another €5 super chat from Vlad. Imagine, I should have just read these back to back. I didn't realize they were connected. Imagine Loki, an angelic figure in the sky with the horns of a demon, holding the sun in between those horns. A successful Icarus, Elbaf's sun god. I see that imagery right there. I completely agree with. And honestly, like, him being a flying thing in general would fit the sun god theme to a degree, because you think about Luffy, he doesn't have sun powers. I've said this a million times. He's the sun god, but he has no sun powers. He's rubbery. He's about freedom. It's symbolic. It's not actually sun powers. And so I think Loki will be the same way. Could he have real sun powers to make it more legit? Sure. I mean, Oda could make it a complete inversion where one is the true sun god has no sun powers and the fake sun god has all the sun powers. I could see that. But I think what you're saying, where he's like an angelic figure who can fly through the sky, and there's all sorts of mythos with, like you said, with like Icarus and stuff that could maybe tie to the sun in some way. But it's him flying in general could tie to the sun because he's in the sky and all that. So actually, I could see that, because if you're a giant and you see a giant flying, you might think he's the sun god out of everyone, because like, oh wow, you can actually fly in the sky. None of us can do that, whatever. So I could see that. I could definitely see that. Cooking as usual. And I love when you guys bring up Norse mythology things, because it's already so prevalent in Elbaf. And so please bring me as many as you can, because I've said it plenty of times before. Oda obviously uses mythology a lot, but I think sometimes it's not good to lead with mythology, because like Oda can always zig when you think he's gonna zag. Like, it's not always good to start with mythology and carry it all the way through. But now that we have so many obvious Norse mythology things set up already, this is the time where we can like dive fully into the mythology part of it, because like, for instance, in Wano with the Momotaro myth or story, whatever you want to call it, we had all the elements where like, we go. A person goes to go beat the Oni King on Onigashima, like all that fit. They even had a monkey, a lion. I can't remember exactly. A dog. It was a monkey, a dog, and a bird, right? And so everyone was waiting in Wano for us to get the bird, the pheasant of the Momotaro story, because Tama was the Momotaro. Well, Momo also, but Tama more so because she controlled the animals. And so everyone was waiting for the pheasant because she already had the monkey, she already had the dog with Koma Inu, but she never got the pheasant. And no point in that arc did she get the pheasant. And that's always made me think, all right, we have to like slow walk mythology theories, because Oda might not carry it all the way through. He might do 99% of the myth and then not do the last part. And so I think Norse mythology at this point, it's so prevalent that I think we should start using mythology a lot for our theories, because we always knew it was going to be relevant, but Oda's like, he's piling it on every week. So yeah, I hit me with the mythology as much as possible. JJ with the $5 super chat. Loki should have accepted the Holy Knight's offer. He could have been Topman's top protege. Bore forever. That's crazy, man. You think Loki should have accepted the Holy Knight's offer? Look, man. This is what the Laboon haters be saying right here. Is they're talking about people should join the Holy Knights, that people should want to be Topman's top protege. These are bad things, JJ. It's not good to be Topman's protege. Besides, JJ, hold on. You want Loki to be Topman's top protege? What about you? I thought it was you, JJ. Are you saying that you're not worthy to be Topman's top protege? Is that what you're implying? Do you think you're not great enough to be Topman's top protege? I never would have thought that the JJ I know would say something like that. JJ has always come across as a level-headed, confident, kind person. And now he's coming out saying that Loki should be Topman's top protege and not him. See, JJ, are you falling off now? What's going on? I thought you were Topman's top protege. I thought you were growing out the stash. I heard the rap song, JJ. I heard you drop that. I don't know what channel that's on, but if you guys haven't heard the Topman rap from JJ, even as a Topman hater, I can't deny that the song was elite. It was awesome. So yeah, JJ, I'm surprised, my man. I'm surprised. I didn't think you'd be the type, but hey. Maybe Loki will be the next Gorosei. Might be better than Garling. Or honestly, we already saw Saturn get fired. Topman might be next on the chopping block, and then Loki might accept that. He didn't want to be a God's Knight. He wanted to be top of the level, top all the way top. I'm getting like 1 million text messages. Whatever. I'll call them back. I don't normally get this many texts. Hopefully it's not emergency, but. Only Kev called me, and he hasn't texted me, so I don't know. My phone's blowing up, though. But JJ, real talk, thank you for the super chat, my guy. For real. Let me find the next one. All right, Enigma E95 with the $5 super chat. Enigma, thank you very much. Always found Big Mom's gigantification unusual. Maybe early world government experiments, and they asked Harold for a partnership for Elbaf's strength, but Harold switched. That's interesting. Because Big Mom being like a pseudo giant, and then being dropped off at Elbaf with the land of the giants and having beef with the giants, and then also trying to gigantify people herself. There's a lot of like gigantification storylines there. I think. Now that I think about it, didn't somebody Didn't somebody make a theory about Big Mom being an experiment of some kind? I can't remember who did that. Maybe Parvision? I can't remember. But now that I'm thinking about it, that I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I can't remember who said that before, but I agree, Enigma. I think that makes a lot of sense. And then you said they asked Harold for a partnership for Elbaf's strength, but Harold switched. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So maybe even before. Well, I guess how old was Harold? That's really the question. Because I'm thinking, if Harold wasn't in power until like maybe a little bit before Big Mom was born, then I think a lot of that makes sense, because maybe the king before Harold didn't work with the government whatsoever, and so the government was like, all right, well, we have to figure out how to get giants ourselves. We have to gigantify people because the Elbaf giants aren't going to work with us. And so maybe that's why they started, doing these experiments to gigantify people. And then maybe once Harold took over, then he's like, okay, well, we can work out a deal. And then they figured, okay, well, we don't have to do the experiments anymore. But then maybe after Harold died, or even after Mother Carmel died, maybe like, all right, let's go back to the experiments. And maybe that's part of what's going on. Like Big Mom was a result of an early version. And then they're like, all right, let's stop. And then after, everything fell, they had to go back to Vegapunk. And that's why we have the Punk Hazard situation and stuff. Well, yeah, they went to Caesar. You know what I mean? They went to see the Punk Hazard. And then Vegapunk had to fix the kids, which is the exact opposite. But regardless, I think that makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense. So it seems like we've all pretty much agreed at this point that Harold was working with the government, right? I like Harold and the Holy Knights, Harold and the Gorosei. They had to be in cahoots, right? Like that. I feel like everyone is pretty much in agreement at this point. And the thing is, going back to the idea that I was saying earlier about Harold maybe tying to the underworld, like maybe he let Mother Carmel come to set up shop, and so they could traffic the kids. Maybe he was working with Rox for a similar reason. It's interesting that what was I going to say? Now I lost my train of thought here. It would be I can't remember what I was going to say. I had a really good point to make. It's going to come back to me in 2 seconds. I reread Enigma's super chat, and then I completely forgot. Something about setting up the underworld, though. Oh, now I remember. We also know that Cypher Pole, which, remember, Mother Carmel's kids went to Cypher Pole. Like that's like the supply chain for Cypher Pole. And Mother Carmel even said that, like, oh, Big Mom could be a fleet admiral. So for all we know, a lot of the Marines come from Mother Carmel as well. And since a lot of that, like I said, was like Cypher Pole visited Mother Carmel. And so I think there's a good chance that Harold was in the middle of all this, because we've even seen Cypher Pole recently go to people like Orochi and try to get some of the resources that Wano has, like I don't know if they specifically mentioned the sea stone or the liquor iron ore or whatever it was, but we've seen Cypher Pole going around working with outside leaders several times for black market needs, right? Go to Orochi to get the resources from Wano, go to Mother Carmel to get kids. We know the government is totally okay working with these underworld-esque black market leader type guys, right? They are okay going to non-affiliated countries, non-world government affiliated countries, and making backroom deals with them. We already know this for sure. So I think 100%, like Harold and Cypher Pole or the Gods Knights, they were in cahoots. It's like, lock that in. Neon Roger, buy stock in my Carmel and Kureha are related theory now. Penny stock looking to boom. Hey man, I'm always looking for the penny stocks that are set to boom. Kureha and Carmel are related. Would you say like Kureha is Carmel's mom? Because that would fit the timeline, I think. And I mean, I'm also a big believer in that that Scopper and Kureha are related. And so I don't know how all that would weave together, but Kureha's got some important kids somewhere, I'm telling you. I I'm not sure. Are their sisters 2 years apart, or Kureha lied and is Carmel? Well, I don't think Carmel's old enough, or was old enough to be. Well, I mean, I guess we don't know how old Kureha's mom was. If Kureha's mom, lived for as long as Carmel, or as long as Kureha, then I guess it's possible. But Mother Carmel, let's see, she was 80. So yeah, so they would be one. So that's weird though. So the timeline does fit because they'd be in their like 140s. But if you go back to Mother Carmel's first introduction, she does not look mid 40s, because that's how old she would have to be. Because when she was introduced in the John Giant scene, she was like super young. And so, but we're being led to believe she was 40 something. That doesn't seem right. If I'm understanding that correctly. So that seems weird to me, that Carmel would be 40 something when she was like I'm looking at a picture of her right now. She was not. Oda's got a retcon one or the other, if you ask me. Because that's not a 40-year-old. I mean, to each their own, but so yeah, I mean, they could be. They don't look similar enough to me to be sisters, but I like the idea they're connected in some way. Like maybe they were inspired by the same people. Like maybe they had the same thing happen to them. Like they experienced the same maybe sad moment in the past, but they interpreted it differently. Where Kureha spent her life helping people, and Mother Carmel did the opposite. I like that. I like that. Will of Dreams, smoking ages your skin. All right, hey. Well, yeah, I guess. Okay, so maybe she was really young looking before that. Maybe she's like Kureha, where she was going to live a really long time, but then she started smoking from all the stress of running the orphanage, and so she aged really quickly. All right. I'll buy that. But yeah, canonically their ages do match, even if it doesn't look like they should. But so yeah, I don't know what it is, but that's a good thought, Neon. I'm buying some of those penny stocks. I'm buying some. I don't have a whole lot of spending money, because I still am holding diamond handing the dragon stocks, and boy, those have been tanking a lot recently. But hey, we're holding on to them. Ooh, Elia. I like. Wait, Elia Sen, are you Elia from the Discord? I don't know if I'm even saying your name right, but are you Elia from the Discord? There's someone named Elia who's always typing. I don't know if that's you or not. But you said Kureha went down the route of science, Carmel religion. Yes, I love that. And the reason I love that, that is you from the Discord? Awesome. I love the Shy Guy profile picture. Shy Guy is top 3 Mario character for me. I almost said favorite, but like Yoshi is goated, but Shy Guy is way up there for me. But I love the Kureha went down the route of science and Carmel religion idea, because that also mirrors Noland in Calgara, which Noland should be relevant to this arc with all the Skypiea connections and all that stuff. I've been saying for a while, Jarl better have met Noland. We need that reveal. But that's what Noland is, right? It's that whole backstory, science versus religion. Like, hey, I know the cure to this disease that's killing you. Don't sacrifice this woman to your god. It'll do nothing. Stop that. Listen to me. I have the cure. Like that. It's that whole thing. And I think there are some ways where I'm gonna say Kureha, where Calgara was right, where the Shandorians were right, because they were protecting a poneglyph. They knew some important stuff. They're saying that like they worshipped a god. Maybe that thing they were worshiping wasn't a god, but as we've seen in One Piece, like there are sort of gods in One Piece. Like, are they actually gods? No, but like Sun God Nika is very close. He's considered a god. Everyone believes him to be. He's saving people. He's really powerful. He has a lot of the hallmarks of a god, but that snake definitely didn't. And so there is like a good interplay there, where they a little. Nolan was right about a lot of things, and Calgara was right about some things. And Mother Carmel and Kureha being the same thing, sign me up. Sign me up. Reason versus faith. The take is old as Greece. Yes, exactly, friend Harper. Exactly. Also, Kush Daddy, welcome to the stream, Kush. I hope your interview went well. I hope you introduced yourself at your interview as Kush Daddy. Hello, yes, I'm Kush Daddy. I'm interviewing for X position. That if you did that, you're getting the job. That's all I'm telling you. That's all I gotta say. And Kush, we didn't have your music question today, but we did have a cereal question to take its place that sparked a good discussion. So, at least we had that. I did have the this or this question, the pancake or waffles question. But that's not really what it was. But you guys know the pancake and waffles story from online. If you don't like one, you have to like the other. But that's exactly what they want to hear. Yes, I am Kush Daddy. I am a mod on a YouTube channel and a Discord. Please, I have many responsibilities. Brandon King, yo, Dak couldn't be here the entire time, but popped in long enough to share a new theory. All right, I'll read that as soon as you post it. You probably have it copy pasted, so I assume it's coming through very quickly. There was one thing earlier I wanted to read. Friend Harper, you said, my only LBAF theory so far is something I messaged you on Discord. This arc doesn't seem to be very morally or philosophically charged, so I haven't been as active with One Piece thinking. All right, hey, I'll check that theory out after this. But, it's funny because, like, I think this arc has set up a lot of philosophical things or moral things, but it's not getting built upon yet, right? Where they've set up the mixed blood, the mixed races thing, like that part. There's a lot to say there. This whole, barbaricness versus scholarliness. Like, are we going to be warriors, or are we going to learn? I can't remember. There's a lot of like little plot lines like that where Elbaf has like some cultural disagreements or uneasiness or whatever, and I think there's a lot to read into it, but kind of like you're saying, it's not getting built upon very deeply yet, right? It's like we're getting little hints to know it's there, and Oda's dropped a few hints here or there, but it's not been like a full expose on, like, Loki's not actually a bad guy. Harold is a very confusing person morally. Like that kind of stuff's coming later. So I get what you mean for sure. I will check out your theory later on though. Neon Roger, hey Dak, who you got in the West if you have your Cavs in the East? So on my bracket, I picked the Lakers. Now, the thing about the Lakers is I think they will have a hard, like, I think their path to the finals is almost in reverse difficulty. Like, I think they match up perfectly versus the Thunder, but I don't think they match up that well versus the Warriors, who they might play in the second round, or the Rockets. And they also don't match up that well versus the Timberwolves. And so I think the Lakers will have a really hard first round, also a really hard second round. And I actually think the third round will be a little bit easier if they played the Thunder. Maybe that's just me. I just think Luka cooked them last year. The Lakers are just the Thunder don't have offensive big men, or at least big men that do well in the paint offensively. Like, they're okay. But Chet is a little more of like a shooter, a little more of a lanky guy. Hartenstein's good, but he's not the type of guy to like beat you up in the post. And the Lakers' biggest weakness is not having a center. However, the Lakers are big at the rest of their positions. Like 1 through 4, they're probably bigger than most teams on average. So I actually think they match up literally perfectly versus the Thunder. They have 3 elite playmakers, so the Thunder can't really double that hard on anybody on the Lakers, which is kind of what they do. They're very tough, press-oriented defense, and they can't do that when you have that many good playmakers that are that big and play different positions. So I think the Lakers will beat the Thunder if they play. But I'm very 50-50 on Lakers Timberwolves. I'm very 50-50 on Warriors Lakers. So basically what I'm saying is, if the Lakers make it to the conference finals, they will go to the finals. If they don't make it that far, then the Thunder will beat anybody else they play. That's how I feel. So Thunder or Lakers is my answer. And then in the East, I definitely got the Cavs. Don't get me wrong, the Celtics will be a tough matchup. I'm not denying it. The East Conference Finals might be the true finals. But I got to go with the Cavs. Cavs in 7. I'm not going to say it's going to be a 4-0, but Lucky Beetle, I saw you just drop that super chat. Let me go ahead and read Brandon King's messages just because I saw they finally came through, and I already said I was going to respond to that, and I definitely want to. So your theory is Gunko tries to attack Robin and change the direction of her life with her arrows, but it doesn't work because Robin has a new meaning and purpose to her life that can't be changed. Okay, that's interesting. I guess I'd be curious on how, because when you say the direction of her life, like, have we seen the arrows work that, like, intangibly yet? I can't remember. Like, I know we've done a lot where, like, she puts the arrow for her attack, and then she kicks or knees someone in the face, and then she has the kids, go a certain direction. We've seen her, like, literally grab the one giant's arm, Bogey, or whatever his name was. So a lot of it's been very physical. Have we seen and kind of an intangible thing like that, like changing the direction of her life? Like, because if all Gunko did was point the arrow like a certain direction and had Robin walk that direction, then that's not really like changing the direction of her life. Maybe it could be, because like if you have her walk off of a cliff or something, then you're definitely, if she actually walks off, then she's cooked. So I could see that, but I wonder if it can be something intangible like that. Like what if Gunko tries using the arrows to make Robin join their side and like translate poneglyphs for them or something, and that doesn't work, right? Like I guess that's how I'm kind of reading it. I just mean she tries to make her feel bad about her life decisions and probably just changes the direction of her attacks back at her, but it doesn't work. Okay, so you're saying more so she's talking to her and trying to convince her to come back with them, or, your friends are going to abandon you. Whatever, bad stuff these evil guys say to get the good guys to betray their friends or whatever. But it doesn't work. And maybe in that moment, the physical part of the arrow stops working. I think that's kind of what you're getting at. Like maybe she has the arrow pointing Robin a certain direction while she's taunting Robin. And then whenever Robin thinks like, no, like you don't get to decide my life. And then Robin fights back against the arrows. I kind of like that. I like it for Robin, but I also think you could kind of do the same thing for almost anyone. For Robin, it obviously makes sense because she's had a lot of, that's been her kind of storyline, like finding her real friends and not knowing if she has them until she met the Straw Hats and all that. But I also think, like we talked about earlier, like Usopp, who predicts the future, like if Gunko's arrows are pointing one direction and he's like, no, actually it's going to go the other way, then we're building like a literal, like, okay, whose prediction carries more weight type situation. So I think a lot of the Straw Hats could have a say in, having a connection to Gunko. I like the connection for Robin for sure. I guess I just don't know if that would necessarily mean like that's Robin's fight. Like maybe it would be more of a sentimental thing, but I like the idea nonetheless, for sure. I can totally see that. And yeah, like Robin makes sense, but even for like Nami, like if Nami was predicted to like go, or was told to go the opposite direction of the kids who need help, and then maybe Nami thought to herself about, how she always wants to protect kids, and then maybe Nami also did it. I could almost see every Straw Hat having a reason to. Zoro doesn't ever go the right direction, so maybe she tries using it on the Straw Hats, and every single one fight back in their own way, and then she's like, what the hell is happening? Like, who are these people? Like, there's no, that's not how, nobody's ever done this. And then that would kind of show her these people are different. That might work too. That might work really well, actually. All right, Lucky Beetle, real quick with the $5 super chat. When Loki meets Nami, then the Loki Lola marriage proposal will be revealed, for she is the only Straw Hat that knows about it. That is true. That is true. I love that. I didn't think about that, but yeah, as soon as Nami meets Loki, the first thing she's gonna say is, "Oh, were you the one who was supposed to marry Lola?" Right? Great. I don't know if everyone else has already been thinking about this, but that went way over my head this whole time. Like that's definitely happening. Like that's so obvious at this point. That's definitely happening. That's how this all starts. And then I hope Lola just shows up. That please, Oda, I need Lola and Loki to talk. That's all I want. They don't have to get married. Lola's already taken. Lola is married to Gotti, happily married. She married a mob boss. Well, I guess Gotti's like second command, but regardless, she's good. But Nami setting it up sure makes a lot of sense. It really does. Also, Firefox has crashed, so now I got to bring up Chrome. As you guys know, Firefox can only handle an hour of us cooking, and then it falls apart, or maybe like a little over an hour. Oh, I just saw Parvision use the same, well, not the same exact thumbnail I did, but very similar. That's cool. Anyways, now I can see the chat again. I pulled it up. Yeah. So Lucky Beetle, I love the Lola connection. And then you said Zoro versus Goemon. Thoughts? Who is Go? Wait, is that like a translation for a name that I don't know? Who's Goemon? Goemon? Who is that? Am I forgetting who that is? Who is that? The swordsman from Lupin the Third. I am not. Hold on. I'm gonna look it up. I have no idea. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know enough to give you. Okay, I found the person. I know who you're talking about. I've never seen this, so I am talking out of my ass right now. I don't have a real answer for you. Let me see if I can find out some of the stuff about this person. Let's see. Wait. Monkey Punch? Is that the... Monkey Punch came up with Goemon as he felt like the manga needed a more Japanese character. So Monkey Punch is the author? Is that it? Okay, well, look. Now we already... I mean, that's kind of crazy. Monkey Punch, that's an awesome name. That already... You know, Goemon's already getting the benefit of the doubt based off that alone. Monkey Punch, I love that. That's awesome. That's an awesome name. Hey, I might be going with Goemon. I don't know anything about this guy. I might not even be saying his name right. But the way I'm reading it is Oda versus Monkey Punch. And I'm just... Monkey Punch, it's hard not to... I love Oda, but like if we're talking a fist fight, I'm going to go Goemon. I'm going Goemon. I might be saying his name wrong, but I'm siding with him. Yeah, maybe I need to go watch Lupin the Third. I'm so behind on all shows or like any anime. I really need to get more cultured. I need to up my culture level for sure. Let me see. Am I caught up? All right, Lonely Mage with the $10 super chat. Lonely Mage, thank you for sliding in. Really feels like the final war is almost here. Crazy to think about. Yeah, it is. Like, it's almost sad in a way because like, you know, will there be slow times? Like, will there be times in the story to catch our breath and stuff? I'm sure. Like, when we go to Laugh Tale, I'm sure Oda will slow things down and let us, like, enjoy the moment. But whenever I hear, like, hey, this is the start of the final war, officially, I'm like, or it's the opening salvo of the coming Great War, I'm like, all right, so are we just going to be fighting for the rest of the story? And if we are, that means we're very close to the end. And that makes me a little bit sad. But... I mean, it had to happen sometime, right? So it is super exciting. It's kind of sentimental in a way. Also, I just realized that Dory cut off this bird's head, the bird nightmare thing. I just realized that's what he did. He literally cut off his head. Very, very savage of you, Dory. But yeah, it is kind of sad. You know, when the final war is upon us, that means that the end of the story is upon us. So. Totally agree. Enigma E95. Thoughts on Mosa being Gunko's other personality? They seem to know where exactly Loki was located, first arrived, and Elbaf themes on mixed race marriages. I like that idea. I think, was it Luna PN Art? I can't remember. I think it was them. I think they did a video talking about that because Mosa is based off of Onpunman or something like that, right? I might be talking out of my ass, but that's what I'm remembering. I watched his video a couple times. He has a few Gunko videos at this point. But I think he was talking about that, how Gunko is probably based off of a character from Onpunman, however you say that. And that character has like two hearts, like a dark, like a good side and an evil side. And that was part of their theory, was like, well, if Gunko is really based off this character who has like bandages on their face and stuff like that, then they might have a good and bad side. And if so, then maybe Mosa is the good side talking or something. Or I don't know if they actually, I think they went into the Mosa stuff, but I just know they brought up the dual heart part of it. And so because of that, the inspiration from that show, I could see that. Now, my little bit of pushback is Gunko had to ask where Loki was. Remember, she had to like threaten Bogey or whatever to find out. And so, like, maybe Gunko's personalities don't mix, so only one knows about Loki's location, but that would make me think that Gunko, you know, that Mosa wouldn't be Gunko, I guess, because if that's the case, then Gunko would kind of know. So I guess I'm a little 50-50 on it. I am very curious who Mosa could be, though. I think that's a big question right now. I don't know. I don't know if I have a better theory than Gunko or like this other personality, because I think during my theory with Randy, we talked about somebody that sounded convincing. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. It was somebody who had a beard, though. But yeah, I don't really know, honestly. Mosa is a really good mystery that Oda set up, in my opinion. Like that might just be a whole new character that we don't know, and that'll have its own importance. Or maybe it is somebody we know, and it's going to blow our minds. Like, I think it's a true 50-50, so I'm not really sure. Lonely Mage said Gunko reminds me of Uta. Yeah, with the music connection, for sure. Like 100,000%. Yeah, I could see that. Straw Hat Kufi, Mosa is Koala. That would be crazy. That would actually be insane. I mean, sign me up. I'm ready for Koala to get involved at any time, you know. Mosa, aka Shaggy, is Morley of the Fur from the Revolutionary Army, also Harudine's mother. That would be interesting if Mosa was Morley. That would be very interesting. I mean, Morley should have a role this arc. I mean, a lot of the Revolutionaries should. I mean, if Gunko has the goggles, there's probably a connection there. Morley being a giant. Dragon just needs to do something. So I could see, you know, a lot of potential there. What if Mosa is the man with the burn scar? That's interesting. You know, the thing there is, I would really hope then that Mosa is a character we already know. Like, if the man marked by flames is a totally random new character that's being introduced, I mean, it could work, but I don't think that would hit as much as it being a character we actually know. So if that is the case, then I would hope that Mosa is someone we've met, and then we would have to wonder, okay, well, we know the man marked by flames is a shaggy person. They have a lot of hair somewhere, so who would we know that has a lot of hair? And there's probably some good guesses there, but I mean, that would be exciting if that was the reveal. Man marked by flames could be Killingham. I'd be very surprised if it's anybody that we've seen on Elbaf, because if they're supposed to, because like Mosa being on a Den Den Mushi could work, because then the man marked by flames would still be on their all black ship, right? So that would still line up. But if it's anybody on Elbaf, I personally think they're kind of off limits for man marked by flames, because then they're not with their ship that has the poneglyph and is making the whirlpools. Like, I don't think Oda would introduce the mystery of the all-black ship with the whirlpools if that's not how we're gonna find the man marked by flames, right? Like, if we're introduced to the man marked by flames through another way, that would feel weird. Now, I mean, if somebody pulls up to the shore mysteriously and it ends up being them, then maybe that'll work, because we saw them pull their ship to the shore. But I think generally, if they're introduced, you know, like away from their ship and like they've been on Elbaf for a while, like it's gonna feel really weird. Like, why even set up that mystery? So I think a lot of the people, I think anybody on Elbaf's off limits. Lonely Mage said Gaban is definitely the man marked by flames. He's going to reveal the last poneglyph after Luffy saves Elbaf. Yeah, for me, that kind of goes in what I was just saying. Like we know Gaban's been on Elbaf for a long time, like hanging out. He had a kid and all that kind of stuff. So I think that pretty much rules him out personally, because that would preclude him like not being on the all black ship very often. So personally, I would be very, very surprised. I wouldn't know why Oda introduced the ship to begin with. You know what I mean? Like, it would just be like, oh, there's a guy with a burn scar. Like, if the whole Blackbeard thing was left out, and it was just, oh, there's a man with the burn scar who has the last poneglyph, then 100%, it's the ship to me just matters. It's just like that. We should meet them on the ship. If they've been on an island and not their ship most of the last however many years, it just feels weird, you know? Tosmorn V Hall of Flames with the $20 super chat. Tosmorn, thank you, my guy. I hope you're bringing some Norse mythos into the equation here. If you're not, that's okay, because you brought plenty before. But earlier this stream, I was telling people hit me with the Norse mythology, because Oda's clearly going so deep into it that, you know, maybe it'll explain Loki's fruit. Maybe it'll explain what Harold was doing. I don't know. I know you're the Norse mythos guy, so if you got any thoughts, let me know. But as for your super chat, there seems to be a huge emphasis on the themes of memory and dreams this arc. What significance is there in so many Elbaf-related amnesiacs, or those who make their dreams into reality? Does the Paw play a role? Let me reread that real quick, because your use of the word amnesiacs threw me off, because that's a great word, and I don't know if I've ever said that out loud. And I'm honestly just, that is a word, right? I mean, I know what you mean by it. Is that an actual? It is an actual word. That's amazing. There seems to be a huge emphasis on the themes of memory and dreams this arc. I can agree with that. Dreams because of the nightmares, and then memory. I mean, there's probably a lot of things you could say, but for me, I would say, like, you know, Big Mom and Mother Carmel, with Mother Carmel being here, because there's a lot of other things you could pull from, so I agree with that. What significance is there in so many Elbaf-related amnesiacs, or those who make their dreams into reality? With which Big Mom also had amnesia in Wano, so she fits even better into this whole thing. Does the Paw play a role? That's interesting. Or another way to maybe pile onto that idea there, Tosmorn, is well, does the memory fruit play a role? Does Pudding play a role? Because Pudding is also Big Mom's daughter, and if Big Mom's tied to this arc and her memory is a big deal, she doesn't remember what she did to the kids and Mother Carmel, does Pudding come back and maybe help her remember that? I think that's a potential angle. But then what you're talking about with the Paw, I think there's a good argument there too, because we saw with Bonnie that you can get memories that way as well. And like this is like a harebrained idea, and I'm not saying that this actually happened, but what if, like, after Big Mom ate the kids, somebody went over and, well, no, I was gonna say Paw-Pawed the memories out, but no, the Paw memories are a duplicate. You don't lose them if you paw them out, so that doesn't work. I was gonna say, what if somebody ejected the memory of Big Mom eating everyone so she wouldn't have that sad memory? But that would only happen with the memory fruit. You'd have to cut it out with Pudding's fruit, which that's a fun plot line in and of itself. Like, maybe Big Mom ate Mother Carmel and the kids, passed out for a little bit, someone went over, cut it out of her memory. Maybe it was even Streusen. Maybe Streusen had a friend who had that fruit. I don't know. Like I said, it's a harebrained idea, but I was just thinking about that, because that could be how she gets her memories back. But the Paw, I mean, we have Kuma here during this arc. Like, they're trying to save him, which, you know, I know everyone's 50-50 on that, especially me, but the Paw playing a role still could definitely matter. Like, what if, for example, Kuma paws out Big Mom's memories from back then, and everyone gets to relive what she did to the kids, and like they actually see it happen in real time? That could be very interesting. That would be kind of sad. It would be a way for Big Mom to, like, recognize her memories for once, because, like, I think she probably knows, but she may have blocked it out from trauma or something. I don't know, Tosmorn. I like what you're cooking here. there's a lot of people in Elbaf who need to be reminded of things, you know, or they need to be told the truth. Like with Mother Carmel, what if this, again, this is also a harebrained idea in my mind, but like, we know that, you know, Big Mom ate Mother Carmel, or that's how it seems, and people have given the idea that Mother Carmel could still be alive in Big Mom, and maybe there's a world where, like, ejecting the memories out of Big Mom will also eject out Mother Carmel's memories, and then maybe everyone can see Mother Carmel, you know, trying to traffic the kids to Cypher Pole as, like, proof, right? Because the only other way to get absolute 100% proof is, like, somebody saying it, like one of the Cypher Pole agents saying that Mother Carmel was bad, which maybe, but I don't think they would rat out one of their, like, informants or helpers in that way. I mean, maybe because it's been so long. But, yeah, I don't know, Tosmorn. I think you're cooking one way or another. And also, you said, remember that mythology is a cultural memory or dream. That's also true. And honestly, that's part of the Nika fruit idea, right? Because it's kind of like, you know, Nika is like a remnant of the culture from the past for like a savior who's coming to save them. And what the government has tried to do is make sure that nobody remembers it, that nobody, you know, shares it so that it perpetuates. They want that to end completely. So that's definitely true of One Piece as well. So yeah, Tosmorn, I like where you're at. And also, Lonely Mage with the $50 donation with the super chat. Lonely Mage, thank you. W's in the chat for my guy, Lonely Mage. Seriously, I appreciate you, my guy. I got the gold W's for you. What? I was gonna give you a stream deck sound, but I don't have any good ones for. I'm in the midst of refixing it so I can get some better ones on here. Here, you know what? We'll just do a good old Laboon sound. That's fine. Laboon, maybe that. I only got a couple of them, so. Anyway, I appreciate you very, very much, Lonely Mage. Seriously, W's in the chat for my guy. Gunko and Uta both are female characters with OP devil fruits. Both, yes, and I have a very important connection between them that I want to mention, which you might already be saying, but I'll save it till I read the whole thing. Both have a part of their body with different colors, Uta's hair and Gunko's eyes. I never made that connection. That's interesting. Both are connected to the Figurlins. Both love music, and both are connected to a demon, Top Musica or Emu. Yeah, wow. Okay, and the thing I was going to say, which you didn't say here, and I feel like you're probably thinking it, but also, Uta's fruit was built around, like, sending people to a dream world, right? Like, there was, like, two realities or whatever. You'd fall asleep in one world, and you'd go into another dimension where you're, like, awake, and it's a dream world where dreams come true or whatever. And now, while Gunko's powers specifically aren't like that, Killingham's are, and Gunko's working alongside Killingham. We have pretty much the same situation happening right now, right? It's just, you know, one was based off music and all that kind of stuff, and now this one is more so, you know, whatever, the dragon fruit killing thing, whatever it is. So there's a really important connection there too. So Lonely Mage, I mean, 100% you're on to something. Part of me almost wants to go make a thumbnail now that is like a split face thumbnail, like I've done plenty of times, where like Gunko's on one side and Uta's on the other, because like I don't know what the theory would be necessarily. I can just see the thumbnail because based off what you're saying, the parallels are they're 100% locked in. In Enigma, I saw you reply to Lonely Mage and said also one is a God's Knight and Uta wearing night gear in the movie. That's also true. Uta had like that weird outfit. And then you also got to think like the point of Film Red, or not the whole point, but a big part of it was to like expand upon Shanks's backstory a little bit. Now how much of it is canon or whatever, I think is up to debate a little bit, but Uta is canon. Her arm was in one panel during Wano or whatever, so she's officially canon, I guess. Now, what is canon about her? I don't know if we really know that. But the fact that Film Red was based on Shanks's family and stuff, and then Gunko appears with Shamrock, which I know you said they're both connected to the Figurlins, but just like it's Film Red, it's a Shanks movie in a big point. So And then Lonely Mage, you said both like songs about either New World or New Genesis. Like Neon Roger said, hit D like. Please. For if not for me, for Lonely Mage cooking right now, please hit D like. Yeah. So Lonely Mage, my question for you now is what do we take from it? Because I completely agree with you. The parallels are obvious and they're purposeful, and there's probably an outcome from this that Oda's aiming for, and I'm curious what you think that is. Like, is Gunko gonna join our side, like how Uta ended up changing her mind towards the end? Is Gunko gonna die like Uta did? Is Gunko gonna see the error in her ways like Uta did? I guess I'm just curious on where you see that all going, because I think there's a lot of different ways, but I don't know. Like I said, I can see the thumbnail for the video. I just don't know what the video would be, because I guess I think the most important thing is the Top Musica Emu connection. And is that maybe hinting that Gunko / Emu, like, or the Gods Knights, are they gonna summon a crazy demon in the future? You know, like, is Emu not in their full form? And kind of like how they summoned Top Musica, they're gonna summon something for Emu. Like, I'm not really sure. Lonely Mage said, I think Emu's gonna use Gunko to manifest an Elbaf. That's interesting. In my in the video I did, excuse me, in the video I did on Redacted, with the whole crew, the Redacted All-Stars, pretty much, we talked about Emu potentially showing up to Elbaf, and I can't remember what all of us said, but I definitely thought it was kind of plausible. Not that Emu would show up and we'd have like a big Emu fight, or that Emu would get like a full exposition, but I just thought maybe Emu will pop up and we'll get our initial, like, oh, the Straw Hats know Emu exists moment. Because I think that's how it's going to start, is Emu's going to make like one appearance where the Straw Hats are like, wait, who the hell is that? And then Emu will maybe say a few words and leave, and then that way it sets up like, oh my god, the crew are going to be thinking about this for a while. You know, we're going to get, like, there's going to be more build up to it. I do think there's got to be a moment like that where, like I said, it's not going to be a fight, but just an initial meeting. And I think Elbaf makes a lot of sense. If the Gods Knights fail, because we obviously saw the Gorosei failed in Egghead, and now if the Gods Knights fail, Emu might just be like, all right, I will go do it myself, because you all fail, and watch this. And then Emu goes, and maybe Emu also fails, but maybe succeeds in a small way. For example, maybe Emu goes and gets Vivi, but doesn't take Luffy or something like that. I could definitely see that. Would also be amazing if Shanks and Luffy team up in the climax of Elbaf. Yeah, I mean, Shanks would have to come back, which I think is a tall task at this point. But if not on Elbaf, it could even be right after it, right? Where maybe this arc with Gunko and everything, maybe it sets up a lot of Shanks plot lines, like little threads to lead up to that meeting, and then maybe right after Elbaf is when they meet, and maybe that's even when Emu shows up. Maybe all that's how that happens. It's right after the arc ends. I could see that. I think oh yeah, Hogan, if I'm saying your name right, I know we go through this every time where I say Hogan, and then I'm like, am I saying your name right? And then I'm pretty sure you always tell me I am saying it right, or I'm saying it close enough. And then a few weeks go by, and then we repeat it. So Hogan, I hope I'm saying it right. Just haven't made it to Alive in a while, which is why I keep forgetting how to pronounce it, I guess. But I think I'm saying it right. Got to go back to the beginning after this Rivals game. Hey, take your time. If you're playing Rivals, no rush, my friend. No rush. Please take your time. Especially if you're playing as Jeff the Landshark. If you're playing as Jeff, you know what? You come back tomorrow. You know, whenever you're going to take a food break, that's when you can stop. Or if you're playing as Groot or as Groot or Luna Snow, because they're Jeff's buffs or whatever, but no problem. Yeah, Hogan, I appreciate you sliding in, man. It has been a while. Thank you for coming back. And I guess, for everyone watching, I normally do my streams at this time, and what I try to do is, whenever the chapter comes out, I try to react pretty close to that time. But the chapter has been coming out pretty randomly, so I'm kind of just settling on Friday afternoons. If we consistently get Thursdays, then maybe I'll move it, but I kind of like Fridays. So for Hogan or anyone else who, you know, tries to show up to the streams or whatever, and I know because sometimes it's not, the time's not consistent, I think I'm just gonna stick with this time. I like Friday afternoon. It's good to kick off the weekend this way. So so hopefully that doesn't get in the way of too many of your schedules, because obviously Friday afternoon, I mean, that is a work day, at least here in the U.S. I know you guys are around the world. Hopefully that doesn't get in the way of a lot of your schedules, but I think Friday afternoon will probably be consistent. Like yesterday, for example, I'm not kidding, guys. The chapter came out like 5 minutes after I laid in bed to take a nap, because I had a very long day. I was out in the yard working. I was working on a video also. I was doing all sorts of stuff. Finally got to go eat some great food from the taco truck, and I was like, you know what? I really need a nap. Like, I woke up early today. I didn't get a full 8 hours of sleep. Let me lay down. And I laid down, and I looked at my phone, and the first message was like, hey, chapter 1146 is out. And I was like, all right, do I get up right now and go react immediately, or do I just take the nap and wait till tomorrow? And I decided to wait till tomorrow, and I think I'm probably going to keep doing that. So so hopefully Friday works for you guys. It seems like, I mean, seems like it does. We've been doing it for a while. Although Thursdays would be preferable if it was consistent, honestly. Hogan, you said, just got my first Luna game today. She's fun. Yeah, Luna's a beast in Rivals. I have not been playing enough recently, so I don't know with the new characters and the new season if things have changed. But when I was playing regularly, Luna, look, Luna was cooking. I don't know if Lol Sauce McGee is in the chat, but I know Lol Sauce is a Luna main, or at least you used to be. Maybe you changed, but back in the day you were. And he was always cooking with Luna. He would cook with Luna so hard that whenever we would play ranked matches, he would not use Luna, because he would dominate so hard that he'd get all the kills and stuff, and then I wouldn't get as many points. So shout out Lol Sauce. But yeah, Luna's really good. It's a good time. I'm just in mountain time, so still working, but got lucky that my boss is out of town. Whoop whoop. Hey, when the boss is out of town, that's like when your parents are on vacation. You know, that's when you can have the parties. Oh, Lol Sauce in the chat. Hey, I'm glad you're here, man. I'm glad you could hear that. Yeah, no, Lol Sauce cooks with Luna. Luna's insane. But no, that's cool, Hogan. I hope the time works. I mean, if I do it, if you're mountain time, how many hours is that? 2 hours behind? Yeah, you're 2 hours behind. So if I go live around 1 or 2 every day, then or every Friday, then that means that you would be you would have lunch roughly around reaction time. So that might actually work out pretty well. Lol Sauce, Dak cooks with Jeff, steals my MVP all the time. When we play pubs, absolutely, I get MVP every time in pubs. When we play ranked, look, it's a different ball game. All right, I'm learning. I'm still learning. Which, Lol Sauce, if you want to play like today, I'm down to play today. I got time. I do need to finish scripting my next video, which I'm glad that did not get touched on in this chapter. I was a little worried it might. But my next video will be the 6 devil fruits of God Valley, or technically the 4 devil fruits we don't know of. Because if you remember in God Valley, we saw those 6 prizes that they were talking about. We saw 2 of them, or we can presume 2 of them were the Kaido's fruit and the Pawpaw fruit, but we don't know what the other 4 are. What are those other 4 devil fruits? Why did they have them? If you presume that the devil fruits are the treasure of Hachinosu, why did Rocks have them? Those are the questions I'm answering in the next video. I've had the thumbnail for almost a year now, but that's the video I'm doing this weekend. I want to get that one out because I saw Rocks was it mentioned last chapter. And for all we know, that could get revealed sometime soon. So I really wanted to touch on that. So that's the next video. Brandino, you said what rank in Marvel Rivals? I was in gold 3, or maybe I got to gold 2. But I think they had the split recently, so I'm down probably in silver now, or I don't know how far they reset. I wasn't very far. I didn't play that much. I'm not gonna act like I'm a god at the game, but I'm probably a little bit better than gold. I just didn't play that much, so yeah. But Lol Sauce is in like super platinum obsidian rank. I don't know what the ranks are. Whatever the top one is, that's where Lol Sauce is at. But Lol Sauce has a Smurf account that Lol Sauce helps me with. Which is not really a Smurf account. It's just to play with me. If it was a Smurf, then he'd be just murking people all the time. But it's only to play, you know, with low ranking buddies. But yeah, I'm in gold. Law Sauce is in, like I said, platinum obsidian, double rank. I don't know, something really high. Neon Roger, you said next chapter predictions, no break. Well, first off, I just want to say, Neon Roger, you've been cooking lately. In this chat, yes, but also in Randy's stream. I think it was Randy's. I was in like 5 streams last week, so forgive me if I conflate several of them. But at least one of the streams I was in last week, you were cooking the whole time, Neon Roger. I just wanted to tell you that. I think I may have shouted you out in the stream, but there were several times where I looked at the chat and you had like a really good thought. But then we had to keep moving because like we were just in the middle of a discussion. But I just wanted to say you were cooking. Yeah, Randy's. Yeah. It was that one then. Yeah, I was in like 6 streams last week, guys. I feel like the number keeps. I said 5 and now I'm saying 6. I don't even know what the number was, but I was in a lot of them. But next chapter prediction. I don't have like a strong prediction because like I want to say, oh, we'll continue the Gunko plot line. We'll see Colin get taken. And then maybe we'll see the Gods Knights continue to go after more kids. But that's like super basic. That's not like a cool prediction. That's like that's what you would presume if you just read the chapter. So I'm trying to think of something exciting. I don't know if this will be next chapter, but I'll say that we're gonna keep getting Ange suspect hints because you know how the theory that Ange is sus that people have been pushing around, that Sai has been pioneering. We see Ange in this chapter off to the side, and she's the one who got sleep paralysis used on her, and it made me wonder. Well, Killingham, why are you using sleep paralysis on Ange? Why aren't you hurting Ange? Look, you wouldn't. Everyone else got hurt. Look, you just slammed. What's his name? The principal. You just slammed the principal's head into the ground. But then Ange is over to the side with sleep paralysis. Why? And so I think now that the Gods Knights are like taking care of business in the town, I think we're gonna get some more Ange suspect hints. You know, like some things that look sketchy. So I guess that's my prediction. Not that it'll be the full traitor reveal, just that she'll keep looking sketchy. That's all. Vex, what kind of tree would you be, Dak? I imagine that I'm like a sequoia. That's a good question. I have a default answer, but I want to look at some trees real quick. Just to see if I can think of a funnier answer. I'll tell you this. I'm definitely not the tree in my backyard that I cut down, because I ain't getting cut down. And if I am, it's not by someone who sucks at cutting trees as much as I do. That's for sure. I actually went out today to go like chop some branches off of a tree, and I did terrible. And don't hire me to cut down anything anything at your house. So you're a sequoia, Vex. Is that what you're saying? Man, there's a lot of interesting trees that I did not know of that look awesome, but I am not confident to pick those. There's a lot of trees, guys. I love trees also. I could look at these all day. You know what? I am gonna be... I have a couple good ones. It's just there's so many. Oh, wait, what's this one? There are a lot of trees. Willow trees are awesome, Doron. See, all right. I know what I'm gonna pick. So let me just double check that this is a real tree. All right, I would be a yew tree. YEW. If anybody plays RuneScape, you guys know what yew trees are. They are the quintessential tree in RuneScape. There are better trees, like level wise, but there is no better tree in terms of nostalgia. I'm going yew tree. That is a real tree. It's not just in RuneScape. It's a real tree, and I'm going to yew tree. If you play RuneScape, that's the tree in RuneScape. I'm going with the RuneScape tree. I'm going with the yew tree. In real life, they are called, or well, wait, hold on. They're called Taxus baccata, which sounds cool. I'm going to yew tree. There's also several of them. I'd be an English yew. I'd be an English yew. I'm an English yew for sure. Hogan, I was thinking evergreen. That was the first one that came to mind, was evergreen. And I was like, because I was going to, kind of like you said, the streams are up no matter the weather. I was going to say evergreen also because a lot of my videos are evergreen, or at least I try to make them that way, where, I try not to do like just quick chapter reaction stuff. I do a lot of deeper thinking, like long-term myth or analysis. So like I aim for that on purpose, so that way my videos don't die after like 2 days, like a lot of chapter reviews do and stuff. So I was gonna go that way because I had a reason, but then I was like, all right, I need, I like that answer, but I gotta pick something more specific to me. I'm going to yew tree. Doron, you said Minecraft Dark Oak. Have you guys seen the fanfare with the Minecraft movie? How like the kids go crazy for the what is it, oh man, I probably sound like such an old guy not knowing the reference here, but the chicken jockey. That's what it is, right? The chicken jockey. Have you guys seen that? That stuff's crazy. I feel bad for the movie workers who have to clean up the popcorn every time, but I'm sure when I was a kid and I went to Pokemon, the first movie, or I went to Pokemon the movie 2000, I'm sure I was the same way. I'm not going to judge the kids. Honestly, I bet you I was worse. I was probably worse. I'm avoiding the Minecraft movie, which sucks because I love Jack Black. Oh, dude, I also love Jack Black. Oh, major, super bass guy. Huge fan of him. But yeah, I'm probably not going to see it either. I don't really know Minecraft that well, so movie going etiquette is in the trash these days. That's facts, ZMP. And part of it maybe I'm wrong, but part of it in my opinion is we got so used to watching movies at home because of Netflix. And I mean, again, I'm showing my age here, but Blockbuster also back in the day. I think like in the last 20 years, we've gotten really used to watching movies at home and saying whatever we want and eating whatever we want and whatever, falling asleep, like we just don't care because we're just doing it at our house. And I think that whenever we go to the movies, it's just, people are used to getting on their phones during the movie because they do it at home, and they're used to being on their phone all the time. So phones are out during the movie all the time. And like, I don't like the last movie I went to, I had like 3 different phone alarms go off because like people's ringtones. I'm like, guys, like what, like this isn't 2006 when we first got cell phones. Like you guys all know that like the phone can go off during the thing. Like if you have an alarm, pay attention. If you like, my phone hasn't made a noise in years. I don't get how people do that, but Neon Roger, random prediction, less than 5 Yamato cover stories left, which will match someone showing up like Lin Lin and Kaido on Elbaf to see the power trio. So you think there's only 5 like chapters left in the Yamato cover story? I do think the end of the Yamato cover story will correspond to Elbaf in some way, sort of like how the Whole Cake cover story corresponded to Egghead a little bit, because we saw the Blackbeard Pirates get Pudding there, and then we saw the Blackbeard Pirates with Pudding fighting Law, and so that was like, it was in the Egghead arc, even if not on the island, so I definitely agree with that. I doubt that there's only 5 chapters left in that cover story, just because now that Ulti and Page 1 joined, I think it's pretty apparent that Yamato's got to go around and get all the scabbards, or like, I don't know if it'll be like every Toby Roppo or what Oda has planned, but I think Yamato's got to get some more. And so And so I would be surprised personally. I think Yamato's got to get at least a few more. And since it took like 7 or 8 chapters just to get the Ultium page 1 thing figured out, you know, I don't know where this is going. I mean, I could see Who's Who joining in a chapter or 2, and then I guess you'd have to go find Black Maria next. Black Maria would be the next one. So I feel like there's probably more than 5, but I do agree that when it ends, I think Oda's just timing it up so we can rope it into Elbaf. Seeing Big Mom and Kaido at the end of the cover story makes perfect sense. That's probably the most. I think that's the easiest thing. It would make the most sense. Case Steppa? Does it say Steppa? Okay, I thought it said Steps for a second, but it says Steppa. I think it might keep going for a little bit. Yeah, I agree. I think we got, like, generally it should be ending soon, because they don't, I mean, I don't know what the longest one is, but we're definitely, like, getting towards the range of where the cover stories could end. Like, you know, 30 is a pretty good amount. But yeah, I mean, Oda's just going so slow. I think he's trying to time it up with something in the actual manga, if I had to guess. Will Talibian, you said, "What's up, Dak?" Hey, Will, welcome to the stream. I appreciate you. You are catching the tail end of it. I don't know how long we've been going. Oh my God, we're already over 2 hours. See, that's just not real. It's not real. It's not real that we've been going over 2 hours. It's not. I don't care what anyone says. It's not real. That's a fake number. That is fake news. Red, I saw a theory about how love is connected to hockey. Both the power of love and hockey have been described in similar ways. Maybe Sanji could unlock conquerors through his love. You're cooking. Oh, wait.
Someone cooked here.
There we go. I haven't used that one in a long time. I only have like 4 left on the thing because I was clearing them out. I don't know if you guys remember, but for a while I didn't like have it even linked for whatever reason. So now I got it linked. It's just cleared some of them out. So, but either way, no, you're cooking there for sure. I completely agree. And I think for a lot of people, it's debatable, or maybe even like it's viewed as a bad thing for Sanji to get conquerors, but to me, it's like a no-brainer. Like, I maybe it's just me, but I think Sanji's a lock. I also, and this might be even more blasphemous, but I think Usopp is also a lock. He already lied about having it, so that might be the most guaranteed one. And I wouldn't be shocked if every Straw Hat got it, but it would just be in their own way, where Luffy and Zoro can be the basic conquerors, you know, we're real strong and have haki and don't have to touch the enemies that we're fighting because our haki's so strong, whatever. That could be them. But like you're talking about with love with Sanji, so his conquerors shows through certain ways, or maybe it only comes to fruition in certain situations, like when he's protecting a woman, maybe. I think that would make a lot of sense for him. For Usopp, maybe it only appears when he, you know, he's like really down on his luck, or he's like really doubting himself. Like the same kind of moments where he would put the Soge King mask on, maybe he, you know, can use it then. For Nami, maybe it's a weather thing. Like she can only use it to bring in certain types of weather, or maybe she can only use it when kids are in danger. Like I think all the Straw Hats are going to get conquerors in that sort of format. So I completely agree. And I'm also curious, the theory that you heard about this, was that from Ragnar, right? Yeah, Ragnar. I think that's who posted it. I know I saw somebody post a love hockey thing, and I can't remember who it was, but I want to say I can't remember. But I know I saw somebody talk about that. So, but either way, no, you're definitely cooking. I completely agree. Luxury Living DMV $2. Say her name, Gunko. Could also be Gunko. Personally, I'm not big on pronunciations, because we're reading a story that's in one language translated to another, and then also translated to every other language across the world, so everyone's going to pronounce things differently. So personally, I don't care. If that's what you're saying, I think you're saying the pronunciation part. But personally, I'm not too big on pronunciations. I don't. Obviously, if you say Luffy, then I mean, then that's just, you know, then you're missing out. But I think a lot of the characters that also haven't even been in the anime yet, I'm not too big on pronunciations personally. If anything, I kind of like pronouncing them wrong, like how Jarl, the Elbaf leader, his name definitely is Jarl, but everyone loves saying Ja Rule, and I'm like, you know what? It's Ja Rule. That's hilarious. So it is what it is. Enigma E95 with the $5. Ulti and Pepe are filling in the missing 2 scabbard spots. That will make the total back to 9. Yeah, but Yamato is getting, like, Yamato is being another version of Odin, and Odin went around and got 9 scabbards. So Yamato should be going around and getting 9 scabbards, right? It's not about refilling the old scabbards. It's about getting the next wave of scabbards because Yamato is a new Odin, right? So at least that's how I read it. It's not about giving Momonosuke these scabbards. It's about Odin the next Odin getting the next set of scabbards, right? At least that's how I read it. I honestly never even thought of it the way you're talking about, and it kind of does make sense. So I'm happy to be wrong, because if I'm wrong, then that means the cover story ends sooner. So you will not hear any complaints from me if I'm wrong. But the way I read it is Yamato. I don't know if Yamato will get 9. Like, that's the thing. It's like there's not even 9 Tobiropo. How, who are the other people going to be? It's going to be random people. Is Tama going to be one of the scabbards? Is Minatomo going to be one of the scabbards? Like, I doubt it. So I don't know who the 9 are. So I think that's a good point. So maybe you are right. But the way I read it personally is that Yamato will go get 9, or we'll go get at least, a personal set. If Jack becomes a scabbard, I'm done. I agree with that. Like, Ulti and Page 1 becoming scabbards, that's cool. Who's Who becoming a scabbard, that's fine. Black Maria becoming a scabbard, that's cool. Jack, get out of here. Like, no. The commanders cannot do that. Imagine, like, Sanji or Jinbei. Jinbei, I guess, would be more so the example. Imagine Luffy lost and Jinbei joins another crew, or joins the person who helped beat Luffy. Like, it's not happening. And I know that's not the best explanation, because none of the Straw Hats would do that. But that's kind of the same thing. Is like somebody who's that strong, like upper echelon of the crew in terms of strength and bounty and all this stuff. They can't. No, I don't want that. No more. Batman needs to become a scabbard. All right, so Doron, I think you're memeing, but I also think you might not be memeing, because, like I was saying, there's not enough Tobiropo to fill out the 9. But there are a lot of gifters that could fill out the 9. And Batman would be hilarious, dude. So we get Batman. Who would be who would be the Smile Fruit users? Batman, Fortrix for sure. Hamlet. Maybe just those 3. Because then we can add Ulti, Page 1, Black Maria, Who's Who. That's 7. Add Tama. That's 8. And then... oh, wait. Babanuki. What are we doing? Orochi's Ninja. Okay. Fukuro Kujo. The Lion Gut guy. So since the Lion Gut guy, Hold'em, since Hold'em tried hurting Tama again, right? That was like a few cover stories ago. He's off limits. No chance. At least personally, he better be off limits. He better be. The Yokozuna guy. All right. Now we're getting somewhere. Komochio. Okay, so Tama's creatures, so also the baboon could count. Okay, I could see that too. They would be more like pets probably, but they would still join the cause for sure. I mean, so Doron, you said Orochi's Ninja. Fukuro Kujo. Like, because they had Raizo, right? In the old scabbards, and so you need another ninja. So it's either Tama or Fukuro Kujo, because Tama wants to be a charming kunoichi, So I think Tama could fill the ninja gap. But if not, then it would be Fukuro Kujo. And then the other person, though, actually, I got to look up his name because I can't. Hote. Do you guys remember Hote? And if you don't, it's okay. It's seriously, don't feel bad. Don't even bother looking up who it is, because of all the people in Wano, all the characters that Oda introduced, I think the person I may have been most disappointed in is Hote, because Hote was the leader of the Mima Waragumi, which, if you don't remember who the Mima Waragumi are, that's okay too, because they were just a throwaway group that Oda just made up and then discarded. But the Mima Waragumi were like the samurai of Orochi, like how Orochi had the ninja. Well, he also had a group of samurai called the Mima Waragumi, and the leader of the Mima Waragumi was Hote, and he was very, very briefly built up to be like a really strong guy, and then he got one-shotted by Hyogoro when he like went back to like his young form, and then we never saw him again. And so I think Hote could be an option, because if you're the leader of the samurai group under Orochi, you know, so that way we could have a samurai under Yamato in this case. So then Yamato has a ninja and a samurai. I think that could make sense. But yeah, if you guys don't remember Hote, don't feel bad, because Oda just threw him away, threw him in the garbage. Cosmic Wanderer. Big Mom or Kaido being alive reveal at the end of the cover story soon. Fight me. I completely agree. 100. I actually did a video on that exact topic back, I think it was like 2 or 3 pages into the Yamato cover story. I did a video where I basically said the same thing. I can't remember the exact examples I gave. I gave some ideas on how it could work. I can't remember. But yeah, I completely agree with you, Cosmic. It's almost telegraphed in my mind that that's what's happening. Because this was mainly the whole point of the video, was the cover stories are used to bring villains back into the story. It's whenever we leave a villain during an arc, Oda uses the cover story to show where they go after the arc, so that he can then bring them back in the story in a more meaningful way. Like we saw Baroque Works, well, part of Baroque Works get taken to Impel Down, so that's how we know Croc ended up there, which we could have probably presumed, but we saw it in the cover story more directly because they tried saving him. After we beat Buggy, same thing happened. Cypher Pole, same thing happened after we beat them. You could even say after Whole Cake, like Gang Beige and Lola and all that, which like is Beige an enemy? No, but he is he is kind of an enemy. He was our friend during the arc, but he is a supernova, which is kind of antagonistic. You know what I mean? He's kind of in the middle, but he or Lola specifically needs to come back during this arc and be relevant. So Oda used that cover story to kind of show how Beige is going to come back into the story. So like Lola went and got married. We saw that in the cover story. That might matter for Loki, right? Like Oda uses the cover stories every single time to bring villains or pseudo enemies or whatever back into the story. And it's, to me, Big Mom and Kaido are the mystery too, that we do not know where they are. We were left with a big cliffhanger. Where are they? Probably near Wano. We have a cover story happening at Wano. It only makes sense. I think it's a locked in. It's 100% locked. Fumo Sarum. Sorry if I butchered that name, but Giraffe Smile Guy gotta be a scabbard. I agree. Is that Hamlet? I said Hamlet earlier, and in my head I was thinking of the Giraffe Guy, but I don't actually know if that's really who it is. I might have it mixed up. I did not spend a lot of time memorizing the Smile Fruit users' names. Hamlet is the Giraffe Guy. Yep. Giraffe Guys definitely needs to be a scabbard. I agree. Elia, you said Gadatsu return confirmed. Yeah. We already know. You know, he's over at Alabasta waiting. He's got baby Pluton ready to roll out. All right, guys. I think I am gonna head out of here. I think I've hit my limit. Mainly because I gotta go work on that video I was just telling you guys about. Well, I just realized that the camera was not straight that entire time. Whatever. You guys probably didn't care that much. But also, Isaac over on Twitch, I just saw your message. It was a Prime sub. Hey, Isaac. I'm sorry I missed that. I had Streamlabs covered up. I will definitely read this real quick. I don't even know if you're still here. I apologize. It seems to me like it was the opposite, that Harold was pushing reforms and he got killed because he was backtracking on supplying the government with mercenary warriors. My money is on Jarl being the collaborator. Again, sorry I did not read this earlier, dude. That Harold was pushing reforms and he got killed because he was backtrack. Yeah, so I can agree with that too. Like, at least if I'm reading it right, where Harold would have maybe agreed originally to supply the government with people, but then backtracked on it. So then he got killed by the government for that. Like, oh, you're going against our deal. You're, I wouldn't say like sabotaging us, but like, you know, you really messed with us. Like, you got to pay for it. I could see that. The thing with Jarl is just, we saw how merciful he was with Big Mom whenever like he was about to kill Big Mom for her killing Jarl. And he decided not to. Like, Mother Carmel was able to get through to him, and so he didn't kill Big Mom, even though Big Mom deserved it. I would say Big Mom definitely deserved it. And now, here's the thing: there's two ways to read that. One, which is how I've always read it, is that he is a merciful guy. He doesn't like killing children. He likes children. He gets that their future can be changed and all that stuff. Like, he understands that, and that's why he didn't do it. But if we were to be a little conspiratorial, what if Jarl didn't kill Big Mom, and the reason that Mother Carmel was able to convince Jarl to not kill Big Mom was because he knew that Big Mom was going to get sold to the government for a lot of money, and he's like, okay, well, I don't want to lose that money for the country. I won't kill her, even though she deserves it. So there are kind of two ways to read it. So honestly, now I'm 50-50. I want Jarl to be good, personally. I know Jarl has Harold's sword in his head, so that definitely makes it seem like he was maybe antagonistic to Harold, but then again, without knowing Harold's motivations, that gets kind of hard to read, I think, as well. See, I honestly, man, I don't know. See, now you got me thinking. I don't know. Isaac, that was a really good well, whatever you want to call it, Prime sub donation to leave off on, because now I'm going to be thinking about that exact idea for the rest of the day. So that was a good way to end. But all right, guys, now I need to get out of here. Last couple parting thoughts. Video dropping this weekend. Hopefully, well, redacted video will be dropping this weekend on this chapter. I'm hoping Sunday. And then lastly, we got some NBA basketball tonight. We got some elimination games. Lose, you're out of the playoffs. Win, you stay in. Whoever wins the Hawks and Heat game plays the Cavs. So, if you like playoff basketball, I know these teams aren't amazing, but we have our first like true taste tonight. We did have the other play-in games, but those weren't like true elimination games. Well, the 9 and 10s were, but you know what I mean. Now this is like true regular elimination. So should be for some good basketball. But all right, guys, I'm heading out.